we're back. Well, looks like I'm hosting the Colosseum anyway. Oh well. Uh, we're back, folks, and I'm going to put this link in the chat, and we'll get back started again. Let's go invite. Let's see, copy link. And there we go. The call started right back up again. Once again, I hope everybody's having a good night. I've had a pretty good day. Been hot. It's actually been hot here in Indy. It's been 90 degrees up here in Indiana. Up in the Midwest, it's 90 degrees here. But it's been a nice hot day, and just want to relax and do this Coliseum. Let's see what we got here. Hello.
Hey.
Oh, hey Jules. What's going on?
Nothing much. Just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. I started before, then I saw Charles, so I was going to go over to his, but he kicked it right back over here, so we're going to be over here for now.
Where stuff is happening, right?
Yep. BGS has had some good streams this week. I've been enjoying those.
Yeah, you gotta let a guy like that who's churning out a lot of material, especially like he's at once countering a lot of people's assumptions, and then two, trying to reinforce what he's actually put out there before. Yeah. If you know his material, like you kind of see. He doesn't say specifics, but he points to, hey, this is the general path that things could go.
Right.
Are you gonna accept it?
Yep. Greetings.
Hey, what's up, Neymar?
I'm laughing at these dudes talking about he want to force y'all to get with Keisha back with Keisha again. Like,
yeah, he's not saying that. He's not saying that.
He's not saying that at all.
No. He's saying
we don't argue
they're at the table.
We don't sit there and argue with Keisha.
Mm-hmm. What's the purple pill?
We walk away.
Well,
we're walking away from Keisha.
Some people are walking away, but some people are like putting their hand on that stove one last time.
Now, to be fair, some of the dudes in the space walking Keisha, but they usually have dudes that listen to BGS. Oops, did I say that out loud?
I mean, to use a snowman in the morning snow soundbite, I just gotta say, big ups to Chris Bates when I say this, but what in the all type of blue hell?
Yeah, pretty much.
But then again, I've always asked this question: if hell is blue, does that make heaven red? I never understood that.
Yeah.
Wait. Repeat that.
What in the all types of blue hell?
If hell is blue, because we always say, what in the blue hell is this? Would that make heaven red?
I don't quite get the analogy, but spell it out for me.
No, because we say, what in the all types of blue hell? Because people always say blue hell instead of red hell. I've never heard anybody say red hell.
I don't think it's supposed to be. Jules, I think you're thinking too hard. I don't think it's.
I am. I think I am.
Oh, yeah, Jules.
Yeah, I got
to. Hey, Julio, it is what it is.
Nice Belgian nails, so I'm enjoying those.
Okay.
I like to think a lot of people. I always like to say most people want to go to heaven, but they don't want to go to die.
Yeah. Now, did you see?
Everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Yeah, I know. Just like everybody wants to live, because everybody, but nobody wants to go to hell, and everybody wants to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Biden fail again?
Yeah, he can't be doing that at his age, man.
80+ years old.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not as bad as what happened to Bob Dole when he fell off the stage back in '96.
Because you could be like, I've known some sprightly, like fit people in their 80s, and they would. One of my, I had a girlfriend whose grandmother was in like top tier of her tennis league when she was like 85, 87, something like that. And she was kicking
Wow.
people's asses who were like 25, 30 years younger than her, like these people who were retired at 55. And she was just wiping the floor with her. And they kicked her out of the tennis league because she was that good. And she was like,
Is that
fuck.
competitive?
No, she was just embarrassing them because she was like 80 something and she was just whooping their ass. And then she wound up fucking herself up because she would still want to get her fitness in. So she would walk on the treadmill and like watch Jenny Jones or some shit and just drink wine
have
or
mercy.
beer. And she fell off the treadmill one day and broke her hip. And she was like trying to reach for the arm rails. And it was like from there on downhill.
Damn. That's
Nope.
messed up.
That's the shit happens, man.
I know.
I remember with it, like, I know somebody whose grandmother, broke her hip, and like, she was still able to get around, but she needs to have that like cane to help support her when she walked around.
Yeah.
The one with the elbow strap with the support on the one with the support at the elbow.
Mm-hmm. Those
But
like
still,
Forrest
like,
Gump
with
braces.
Yeah, something like that. But even if her hip was broke, she was still able to
My
walk
name
after
is
hip replacement.
Forrest Gump.
Well, my name is such and such, but they call me Bubba.
Well, Democrats kill me. This dude falling down like this, but that's who they're going to try to shame us into voting for. I'm like, okay, y'all think you're going to play this game again with black folk? Not without a fight this time. I'm really going to punch you in the face this time. I'm not having it.
Let me ask y'all a question. And I asked this question a couple times. One's pushing 80, the other one's already 80. What guarantees that both of them are going to live to see E 2024?
None. There's none.
None.
They could kick the bucket. Both of them could kick the bucket at any minute, at any day. And
I'm sorry, I'm not voting for Ron DeSantis. I'm just not going to do it.
That dude's a joke. That dude's a joke. That dude is a fucking joke. And not to mention, he's still in the Navy. He's still a Navy reservist.
He's not a joke, but you can't really read what he would actually do because he's beholden to whoever's voting in his favor, right?
Yeah,
because
I think he's too much of a white supremacist grifter.
I wouldn't even say that. I would just say like he's not his own man, and he doesn't have the capability to be. Like he could be a white supremacist for white supremacists. I think he's just open to whoever.
He's an empty suit. I think that's my problem with him. He's just doing shit because he thinks what he needs to do to get him the votes.
Yeah,
because he's fucking them state up right now. What he's doing to immigrant.
Yeah, and Disney's not. I mean, Disney's a huge employer. Like if you've ever known people who've like tried to make their shit down, Florida's a retiree state. It's like you look at North Florida is like Jacksport up at Jacksonville. You got the state capitals in Gainesville. You got a couple of
Tallahassee.
Yeah, Tallahassee and Gainesville have good
Fort
universities.
Lauderdale.
Yeah, Orlando's got Disney, and then South Florida is all tourism.
Don't forget Tampa. Don't forget
Tampa and St. Petersburg actually might blow up a little bit from like wealth management, but that still feeds into the stuff that you can get from like Boca Raton to Fort Lauderdale, which is wealth management. It's like old people who got a lot of money.
Coconut Creek. Yeah. Boca Raton. There's also a place called Sanford. Boca Raton. Yeah. Boca Raton and Coconut.
I have a place in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm like, look, if you want to see some real wealth, like West Palm. And Palm Beach, then you could see like good wealth, like where Trump had his Mar-a-Lago. That's like real wealth is around him. He's got wealth, but he's not like that deep money, right? And then you got like a lot of people that live in between that Palm Beach and West Palm area, and then you go a little bit over towards the Everglades and stuff, and you got a lot of people that are worth like $2 to $5 million, like a lot of neighborhoods like that.
Yeah,
Florida's real tricky like that.
Yeah, let's not forget Florida is also home to cocaine cowboys.
Yeah, but a lot of that built up in like the 80s and it kind of faded back.
Just a minute, Jules. For those of you just coming in, like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App, and support the show. Continue, Jules.
I was saying, there's certain places in Florida that you want to live, and there's certain places you could ask Mr. Z, and he would give you like a breakdown. I'd probably like, I'd say I think I probably could figure out where he lives based on what he does and where he, like, in a general area. Like I could pick like 5 zip codes and I'd be like, he lives. I'm not going to say it on the broadcast. But if you want to be,
let's not go there. Let's not go
no,
there.
you want to be far south, like Miami Beach, that Brickell area, obviously, or you want to be farther north, like north of Aventura, Hollywood, all that type of shit. And then, you got good areas where you want to be on the beach or like farther inland.
Mm-hmm.
There's places. There's one place I could think of. It's on the Panhandle. However, it's called Panama City. Places like that.
That's a hillbilly.
Fort Lauderdale, everything.
Hillbilly alcove.
Yeah,
man.
you could. Yeah, but those places are usually like usually like spring break central and shit like that. Those
It was, but like most people are down in like that Fort Lauderdale and south.
Yeah.
People do go to Panama City, like if you're at University of Alabama or some shit like that. But like most people will fly in FLL or MIA and then go wild.
Tallahassee, Gainesville, and Miami itself. That's where where the major universities are.
We need to outlaw Gainesville, all of them. Get them out of here. Too many. Too many Gainesville in this damn country.
Yeah, well, this is from a young mother trucker, folks.
To be fair, there are like 6 or 7 Gainesvilles in the country. I don't know if you're aware of that, Nema.
I only know of 2. I only know of 2. One in Florida, one in Georgia.
Albert Byrd.
What?
I've also heard.
There's a bunch of Gainesvilles and stuff.
Just like every place, like there's also like you got 2 places called Augusta, one in Maine and one in Georgia. You got
So let's do this. Just Google I will show you. You got Gainesville, Alabama, Gainesville, Arkansas, Gainesville, Florida, Gainesville, Georgia, Gainesville, Missouri, Gainesville, New York, Gainesville, New York again, Gainesville, Texas, and Gainesville, Virginia. You got a lot of Gainesvilles in this fucking country, bro.
A lot of them. People only know the ones that are like tier 2 or above, which I think like most people know the tier 1 cities. Was that New York, DC? Let's say, all right, New York, DC, Atlanta, Miami, New Orleans. New Orleans is on the cusp. Probably Nashville, Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, Seattle, Los Angeles, San Diego.
Don't forget Memphis. Or you mentioned Nashville.
Memphis is. I put Memphis as like tier 2 or tier 3, just because it is a very important logistic hub, but it is 500,000 people on the Tennessee side, maybe another 500,000 people on the Arkansas side.
Don't forget Kansas City. That's similar.
I mean, I put that at like tier 3. I think that's regionally important.
Just a minute. Thanks, Jules, for the $20 cash app. Continue.
No problem. No, I think like I like to classify it as like there's internationally important, nationally important, regionally important, state level important, intra-state level important, and then you start to get like locally important. So like
that makes sense.
Yeah, like New York and Miami are very internationally important. DC internationally important. Nationally important would be like Raleigh, because Raleigh Durham has a bunch of stuff around it, especially Chapel Hill, the universities. They have a lot of
But when you say Riley, people immediately know you're talking about Carolina. When you say Gainesville,
North Carolina,
that gets kind of weird pretty quick.
That's why I say it's like intrastate. Like if you're in Florida, people know Gainesville. If you're in, I think I know a couple of other Gainesvilles that you were talking about, and like you would know them if you're in that state. And then some of them are small, some of them are large.
Yeah, it's shitty. Change the name. We don't need 2 and 3 names for the same place. Like, stop it. And they're different places. Just stop it. Like I feel like these cities and these counties and these municipalities, they need to change their name, bro. You can't do that. You can't do that. Stop that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Problem is, if you ever go to talk to like some old British people in like in the UK, and they be like, "Hey, how'd you guys name this town Sheepsbridge?" And they're like, "Yeah, there's a bridge and the sheep cross it." Like it's like real stupid shit as to how some of these towns get their names.
Well, most of our towns are names of different people. or different, groups. That's how that happened for most towns and states in America. Just is what it is.
Once you break past the original 13 colonies, yes, absolutely. All the 13 colonies have a bunch of shit that's named after like shit in England. Like you could see like a Suffolk, Massachusetts, Suffolk, Virginia, Suffolk, South Carolina, and then like a Suffolk, UK. And then
Suffolk County, New York on Long Island.
Suffolk County, like a lot of that stuff is like very tied back to the old country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the city of York, old New York, is like the newer version of Old York.
Of York.
Yep.
Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Yorkshire. By the way, they're called shires, not counties. The counties are usually called shires.
Whatever. Counties, motherfucker. I'm American. You
don't
hear an eagle in the back? You don't hear that eagle in the background?
You got eagles here. They're about bigger. American. You got that American bald eagle.
Yeah.
So why you guys call the the bald eagle? Is it because the chick's usually born with a receding hairline? Does it have like a George Jefferson, Stephen A. Smith type of hairline? Is that what's going on?
I don't know why they call it the bald eagle. Shit, they just call it. It was always called the bald eagle. I'm used to it. Shit, that's my answer.
No, they're called bald eagles because the feather on the head turns white. It doesn't become white until they become adults. Until they're adult, the feathers on the top of his head on his head is usually black.
You know why we call them bald eagles? Because we're so cool in America here. We actually go up into the sky, pull the eagles down, and then shave their heads bald, and then send them back up. That's why we call them bald eagles.
But by the way, did you know that when it comes to eagles, the females are larger than the males?
Oh, really?
That makes. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. When it comes to bald eagles in particular, the females are larger than the males.
No shit.
Also, when they mate, they have to do it while in midair, but they have to spiral. It's weird, but it's
yeah.
But he's got to pull, but when he's in there, they're spinning, and he's got to bust a nut and pull out before they crash.
That makes sense.
But they got to hold it. They clinch for dear life in the meantime. It's dangerous. Wow. But yeah, the females are some males. I mean, you want to talk about some huge ass eagles? Yeah, F Holiday, it's the truth. You want to talk about some huge ass eagles? Look at the harpy eagles you find in some parts of I think Asia. That's the biggest ones, and those things bring terror.
Yeah, Asia's a scary place, man.
It's good F Holiday.
Yeah,
Asia's a scary place for people who are like have an aversion to certain types of animals, man. Like they got some different shit over there.
Man, most of the world.
You ever seen a clouded leopard?
Most people don't realize how sanitized the U.S. is. I think once you break out of the West, it becomes wild.
Or Europe, or Western Europe for that matter.
Yeah.
Like imagine going to Australia, bro, and looking at them motherfucking kangaroos and those wolf spiders and shit, bro. Like that shit different.
Or emus, or wombats. But everybody wants to cuddle a koala, not knowing that those motherfuckers got some claws, and those guys can be nasty little bastards.
They got like syphilis and shit too.
I just think of them like Pokemon, bro, but they're monsters actually.
Syphilis.
By the way, you probably hate my little PK. When it comes to Digi, if you ever mentioned Pokemon, you probably get a weird look from my little brother, who's a little bit younger than you.
What's that?
He grew up watching. You said Pokemon. If you grew up watching Pokemon, you probably might hate my younger brother because he grew up watching Digimon.
Oh, he's younger than me. Yeah. Yeah, he's got to be.
He was born older, I think, man. I don't know. He was born in 91.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, Digimon is weird. I mean, I respect.
I have a little. Yeah,
respect.
Sorry, hold on, wait a minute, fellas. I gotta have a little fun here. This is for you SBE knuckleheads. Notice we haven't talked about a certain individual. We haven't talked about a certain individual.
Oh, my personal impression.
On either stream, we haven't talked about this individual. But for some odd reason, we're supposed to worship at her feet.
Nah. I mean, she's.
I had to have a little fun. Can I do the Andy Circus?
I give her respect for her business acumen. But go ahead, Emma.
That's what kills me. She's up front and says she's in it for the money. So why y'all bitching about it?
Yeah.
Like
she ran the tables.
She's in it for the money. She's up front. What's the big deal?
Yeah, she ran the tables.
A lot of people are in it for money. YouTube's a job, like it or not. YouTube's a full-time job for some people, like it or not.
You fail to realize she's only about the precious.
Oh my God.
No, I mean, she ran the tables like
you do realize
very few people really can do.
I don't have anything of value.
And you do realize,
I don't.
Hold on,
I don't have any.
Wait a minute, PK. You do realize if you make a certain amount of money on YouTube, they will send you a W-2 form, and you'll have to pay taxes on it.
Well, everyone gets that. It's not 1099. But she gets that one. I can't.
Wait a minute. She's based in the UK though. She's based in the UK.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Her taxes are probably ridiculous.
I don't have anything of value to add.
Oh,
so far as Shirley is concerned, like to be honest, I said everything I've had to say about her already. So I mean, I got nothing.
Yeah, I barely watch her videos, but it's not that she don't put out good content. I'm just usually busy.
You should prompt her. She needs to start donating to this channel. She needs to start putting some money in this change.
She's basically like a lot of the grifters. She's copy paste. No abstract. She doesn't necessarily add any extra to what she doesn't build.
Yeah,
she's free. She's free if she wants to frequent the discussion.
Free advertisement.
She's free advertisement. If people want to talk to her, you're free to talk to her. I don't give a fuck. I mean, it's not that serious. You know, for all the claims that we get, she's never been here, and if she wants to come here, it isn't as though we don't host panels all the time. She's
right.
Yeah.
What does SBE stand for? Can somebody explain to me what SBE stands for?
Shame, blame, and explain. What they do pretty much, but they're just trying to put it on us. It's pretty much what they do. Shame, blame, and explain.
Okay.
I was gonna say John McNeil.
Go ahead, Jules.
I was gonna say John McNeil Whistler said that hacks copy, geniuses steal outright. She stole, and she fucking ran that credit card up, and she made a valuable entity.
Yeah.
And the funny
thing I already said it initially, you know, when we were talking about this like months and months and months ago, you know, like all I really got to say is she's a smart businesswoman, and I left it at that.
Yeah.
That's all I don't have anything else really to say. Everything else I had to say that was for behind the scenes, and I left it there, you know. I mean, I got my own personal opinions about, you know, her interactions with us in particular is concerned, but I said that and left it there. I mean, she's no leader of anything that we do here. She's not involved in any of our discussions firsthand. I mean,
nope.
It's not as though we don't host open panels. So if she ever wanted to interact with us, we've all been here. So
yeah.
You could say like Carl. I'm gonna invert it. Carl Sagan would be Kevin Samuels, and Neil deGrasse Tyson would be someone like Pearl. It's not to say that they have the same impact, but the you know what I mean, that popularizer function that they have.
He made it popular. They made it popular.
Yeah, Sagan, because Carl Sagan did that with the first series that he did.
Cosmos.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it was all original, but it does mean that they like put that out in the universe and like people understood what they were trying to communicate.
People forget that Neil deGrasse Tyson was actually a disciple of Carl Sagan. He mentions how when he was a young teenager. Yeah, because he mentioned this, and he did his own. When he hosted the Cosmos, the remake of the Cosmos series. He there was like a segment in one episode at the end. He mentioned how when he was 17 years old, he got a chance to meet Carl Sagan.
You know what's really I gotta throw this out here. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you know what's really funny about this, the SBA discussion, is that a lot of these guys are actually no different from Pearly. They're just doing it from the opposite side. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, BK?
Well, the truth is that just the same way that they don't interact with us, the SBE guys, they don't ever come on these panels and actually have these discussions in a forthright manner. They come with their talking points. They don't actually have any material to discuss. Their whole shtick, their whole grift is essentially to rip off analogs and pieces of information that came specifically from our camp in an attempt to rebrand it and discuss.
Yes. And invert it. Yes.
Copy paste. Like I said,
it's copy, invert, and paste. I've seen that a lot.
copy,
Where a lot of
edit,
people,
and paste.
like they like the violence, they like the pain. Like Cyborg, they like to see the destruction, and they want to live with that. And so they see people trying to say, no, we gotta get this right, and they want to
It's like reality TV.
I mean, they hate the same person that they are. They're literally just pearly things.
Yeah. Passport OG. That's one way to look. You're right about that.
You know, like my Sagan analogy.
Yeah, it makes sense actually.
I try to make something that makes sense, but sorry, Naaman. Sorry about that.
I thought it was fun. I was a little perplexed that you would compare her to Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I have nothing against the man. I know he did like another version of Cosmos. But then again, him
also dodged the Me Too. There's a couple of them that came out. There were like two of them. There was like one fat chick said that he put his hand on the small of her back. I was like, what the fuck?
Bro, that's not a flex. Imagine saying as a woman that
a hand on the small of her back.
You fucking got sexually assaulted by a Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, that's not a flex, bro. You're not winning nothing. That's just derogatory. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong?
But it's not even that. There were two of them. One of them was like, there's a woman when he was at UT Austin, and she said that he like assaulted her after like a wrestling match, and then he wasn't wrestling at the time that it occurred. I think was the thing that like made it not make sense, right? And so it kind of dismantled that from the start. And then the other one, there was like a woman he went to a conference, like there's all these professional conferences that happen. And he said when I took a picture with him, he had his hand on the small of my back or like my butt, or it was like a very vague, like it made her feel uncomfortable. And then you could see his hand was like around like her the fat fold on her ribs.
Oh hell no.
And she was like, and you could see, and you could see like it was not it was more like a jovial, congenial hug.
Yeah, it was
more than like I'm groping your titty type of thing. And I was like, what the fuck? Like there was like
if you were uncomfortable with that, then you could. I remember was it?
And see, Jules, this is why nobody wants to go back to work because nobody wants to deal with this shit.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, that's why nobody wants to go back to work.
That's wild.
The DEI people at the companies I work for, they talk to me because they want to know. Because I'll tell them like I'm not gonna say. I have a very comfortable position, and I can tell them some basic truths about why their positions are fucking useless.
You mean all of HR?
Well,
no, I mean HR has a function, but I'm like, look, most people.
Okay, hold on. Let me run this by you. How much of HR can't be automated?
Hey, nicer. Good to see you.
I'm gonna say 25% needs to have a person there.
Okay.
If you're gonna hire people, you gotta
describe that. You gotta describe that. Why 25%? What portion of that 25% is doing something that's a core function of the company's stability?
You have to negotiate with people. That's the primary. You have to negotiate like what is the people management between the C-suite and then below, and then people who are working there and up, and then the big portion is people who are trying to get into that organization. How are you going to filter them out after the AI or the automation tools you already have in place? Filter them out for not hitting certain keywords.
AI is coming, y'all.
I don't think that's a very large percentage of people.
I said 25%, man. I said 25%.
I think that's even lower than that, bro.
I don't think so. I think it's like a very key 25%. Not
and most multinational corporations that have hundreds of thousands of employees in the HR department, like, nah, bro. I think that it's probably around like 5 to 10%, bro. You don't need that many people in HR departments across the globe. You don't.
I agree with that. You don't need as many, but you do need people to like make sure that your policy stuff is up to date with whether federal regulations, state regulations are coming down. Like you do. I say like 25% is like a nice cushion. It could be as high as 35. It could be as low as 15.
Depends on depends on how much can be delegated from person to person. Depends on who's in charge.
Yeah,
and how
because
much
I've had
of
HR departments that were like they lost a check, or like they forgot to deposit a whole check. Like there's just weird shit that'll happen. Like weird.
Well, those
like,
are people. Remember
yep.
that.
Yeah. That's why I think there's use for some automation and AI, and but then like having like a human intermediary.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
you're not gonna completely get rid of humans. I don't think AI is there. You can get rid of some tasks, but you can. There's always going to need to be a human there. Certain tasks.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the type of task. I would say it depends on the type of task and the and also the amount of people doing said tasks. Because I think that what you're thinking about is that AI is going to come in and wipe out all positions. Like it's not going to happen that way. What'll happen is that you'll end up taking away most of the jobs for said position. Not all of them, but a large percentage of them. Because you won't need as many people to do that same task. And some positions will actually be destroyed outright because a human would just be inferior to an AI in some positions.
You
know?
Yeah. What about if it did the alternative and just said we should make everything like the Zara Mondragon situation where it's all cooperative? And he said, yeah, we're going to fire everything from the top down. Get rid of the boards, get rid of the CEOs. You have a functional workforce.
That is not going to happen. I wish it worked that way. No, it's not going to happen.
Remember, this is a computer. This is a potentially amoral computer system. Potentially. They could be like, man, these humans are fucking things up. You get these people working in a system like an ant colony. Maybe they can make something happen.
Nah, but the issue is that we got to keep in mind that, CEOs, boards, all these things, like your company doesn't exist in the first place because those are the people who came together and made that company with their capital. So those positions will not be eliminated. They're not serving a functional purpose necessarily to the company.
Why not?
However,
you
can't
get rid of the board that naturally because
you can't actually take that position away. It's actually not possible unless, if you understand the way that the corporation is built, it will not work in that way. AI is not going to come in and replace those positions. They won't do it. Now, the CEO may want to remove, all of your middle and, upper middle management. That could be a very real possibility. Because those positions are also not.
I think they want. They're gonna for some time until like at least the Z's are in power. I think they're gonna want that human intermediary. Like there's a lot of people who are like baby boomer level who are ass kicking.
Yeah,
there's just some ass kicking baby boomer CEOs who can really make some shit happen. They don't want to just plug shit in.
Speaking of AI, gentlemen, hold on. Wait a minute, Namer. We got ChatGPT right here. What y'all want me to ask it?
Let's see.
What is Melanie King's cup size?
Oh my god!
I'm playing.
He's not going to answer that. I can tell you, he's not going to answer stuff like that.
No, it's not. She's a lovely lady, little cutesy, but very charming. If she's listening in the clouds, I hope.
Well, let's have a little fun. What is the Black Manosphere?
It had a very judicious. It had a judicious answer for Kevin Samuels, but let's see.
Black Manosphere is the term Black Manosphere refers to an online.
It's very judicious.
I can read it. I can read it real fast if you want.
Yeah. The term Black Manosphere refers to an online community composed of Black men who engage in discussions, share perspectives on various topics related to masculinity, relationships, self-improvement, and societal issues. It can be considered a subset of the broader Manosphere phenomenon, which encompasses various online communities and movements focused on men's issues and perspectives. The Black Manosphere often centers around experiences, challenges faced by Black men in particular, including discussions on dating, relationships, fatherhood, career advancement, and personal development. Members of the Black Manosphere Manosphere.
Interesting. That answer is actually improved since the last time I typed
it
in.
Yeah, members of the Black Manosphere may discuss topics such as building confidence, navigating interracial relationships, addressing systemic racism, and promoting Black empowerment. While the Black Manosphere can provide a platform for positive discussions and support, it's important to note that any online community, it can have wide range of perspectives and beliefs. Some discussions within the Black Manosphere may revolve around controversial or sensitive topics, including gender dynamics, feminism, and societal inequalities. It's crucial to approach regenerate response. But yeah, I mean, look, I'll tell you this, man. When I saw BGS's response to AM1, I was like, look, there's no audience for listening to AB talk about Python. But I'm also in a Facebook group with a bunch of dudes who are taking and passing cloud development courses. It's boring shit unless you're in the class. And Theo knows it's boring shit, but the labs are fun. He spices it up. He's like, look, you don't want to do this 4-digit code, but it gets you to Brazil. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that'll get you views or get people engaged on it unless they're into it. But
I said this a while ago, man. I think that people, I know that some of these people here are just simply disruptors. They've been around and they're not brand new. They've been around here for a little while, and their channels, unfortunately for them, aren't doing as well as they would like. And they believe that they want to come here to disrupt what we may be discussing, no matter what it is we're discussing. Now, if you have a lane or a niche that you're trying to sell to, and I think this is one of the things that Ed mentioned a couple months and months and months and months ago to AM1 and his ilk, because he's not by himself on this particular issue, is that if you want to grow your channel, then you have to market to your niche. You're trying to get mad at your market for not buying what it is that you're selling. It's not going to work. You have to essentially niche down into what it is that you're trying to do. And if you can't get the market here, you need to broaden your market. So if you're in the Black Manosphere and what it is that you're doing, people aren't actually consuming it, you have to broaden out to other groups. You have no choice in the matter. You can't get mad at the market and be like, well, goddamn, why don't Black people like this? Well, fuck. Well, that's not what they want. You got to go somewhere else.
You're right. You're right. Kevin created a blue ocean that the Black Manosphere could expand into, because like a lot of guys have, like myself, was were brought into by Kevin. Well, actually, Kevin caught my eye. BGS had a good analysis of E. Franklin Frazier that like kept me in, and I was like, oh, these guys are actually not fucking around. And then when you talk to everyone around here, well, not everyone, but like the majority of people are not fucking around. They, you know, you have their lives and stuff. Some people are living at a very, very particular stuff, and some people are, you know, trying to figure stuff out. But a lot of guys are very productive. And then, you know, I'm in the Discord where some of these guys are very intelligent, and you know they're willing to trade ideas on stuff. And I'm trying to push one person into like the cloud development stuff because I'm right there too. But you know, it's a sense of camaraderie, like Black men trying to motivate other Black men to do well. That's what I say.
Adrian just shared something. There's a group, I didn't know this group existed. Black Boys that Code.
That's interesting. I didn't know about that. But
here's the thing I just want to say. I wanted to say earlier. Look at it this way, AB. One thing that, I mean, there's certain jobs where you can never completely automate simply due to the fact that unless they're able to develop this, but AI is not capable of abstract thinking. Abstract thought is still beyond that capability for artificial intelligence or learned intelligence for computers. In time they could.
What's going on, guys?
Hey,
what's up, OG?
What's up, fellas?
But the whole point.
Go ahead.
You have what's called machine learning, and what's happening is that by virtue of importing machine learning, you get essentially what's considered to be AGI. I don't know if you know what that is. It's the same thing. Just imagine the AI concept, but it essentially just how I put this. How do I dump? AB, take over. You might have a better way to explain this.
What were we talking about? I'm sorry.
He was talking about how AI essentially can't do abstract thinking. I was going to explain to him that that's something that is being worked on as well alongside AI, and they're going to essentially we're
Machine
teaching in.
learning.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're
The
going,
closest I've
it's
heard is
going to
that.
basically be able to learn things on its own and
Yeah.
come up with new concepts on its own.
Yeah, because the best I've heard is that humans learn bottom up, and then AI or computers learn top down. And so we just don't think in similar ways, and so that can create like a new calculation of how things are going to turn out.
That was explain it. So yeah, thanks for answering my question.
But yeah, that's something that is being worked on. It is an issue currently, but a lot of this stuff is still new. Not all of it, but a lot of this stuff is still new. Like,
Still
so for
no,
instance,
not to mention there's going to be. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
So for instance, Chat GPT, has only, I think it's in its third. I think this is its third iteration, but it's already been being developed for quite some time now, and they're still going to be using this alongside machine learning to essentially be able. Basically, they already know what you're talking about. It being a problem, they're making it learn on its own so that it can come up with new concepts. That's
Let me
the
show you
point.
guys something. Write me a person class in C#. It has a first name, last name, email, phone, personality, and gender.
Okay.
All right, let's look at this. Yeah,
basic
for
setup
those
is
who
good.
don't, yeah, that's a standard. That's a standard C# class. Depending
Uh-huh.
on what framework I'm working in, I would definitely modify this to add some extra features in it. But that's a legit class. That's a proper enum. Yep, for gender, that's a proper enum. Male, male would probably equal 0. Female would equal 1, and other would equal 2. Little thing when you're counting in programming. You do when you're counting in programming, but yeah, ChatGPT's fun for doing stuff like this.
Yeah,
and,
you can get like a basic architecture, right, and then just start to manipulate
and
after
work from there. And actually, they implement it right here. Person equals new person. First name John, last name. This is a little outdated because there's another way to write this in C# that's a little bit more efficient. This is a little outdated. There's another way we write this in C#, but you get the idea. This is it's a good start. It's a good start. This is definitely good for generating the class. So you don't have to type it out. But yeah, you could do fun stuff like this with ChatGPT, and you could do it in any language too. Like I can write the same thing in JavaScript.
All right.
I can tell it to give me the same spiel in JavaScript. Like I'll just do it. Let's see here. Write me a person class in JavaScript. It has a first
You don't actually have
name.
to do that, AB. If you
What?
backspace and you just tell it to write me a person in JavaScript in the same using the same properties, it'll do it.
That's what I'm doing. I'm writing the same properties.
No. You don't actually have to type it all out. I'm telling you, if you just type it in, like the way I just said it, it'll still remember what you just said and do it.
Interesting.
Because it'll do some good stuff. I work in database admin, mostly in Salesforce, and it won't know the entire environment I'm in, but it will prompt me to think, oh shit, I didn't see that piece, so I can do this with that.
So AB, do this. Type this in, okay? Type it.
Hold on,
type
wait
in
a minute.
Okay. You see?
Oh, I did remember. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yep. It'll do it. You don't actually have to tell it to remember the properties that you already did. It'll remember and do it as long as you ask it to. You don't have to retype it.
Right.
But then if you want to add in any any additional questions or classes, you can actually tell it like, I want you to add this, but you don't even have to tell it to keep the rest of the stuff. It'll do it. So
yeah. But this is the AI, folks, and it's changing everything.
Well, it's taking a lot of grunt work out of people who have a lot of work to do. Hands, right? I mean, you're trying to write something, you get a hunk of clay. Instead of having to make the clay yourself, you just get a hunk of clay to start, chipping away at. You save that grunt work. But if your job is repetitive and you're sitting in a booth all day, you probably need to retool because it looks like a DOS prompt. Looks like a DOS prompt that speaks English back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, anything you ask it. Anything
you don't have to learn all this funky syntax for it. You just write English to it, and it's tell you English or whatever feedback. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be someone that knows how to code. You don't have to be someone that knows how to write basic code anymore. Not really. I mean, like, that's why I think that on BGS's channel, he said a while ago, or not him, but one of his guests said a while ago, a lot of these stuff. Well, I was saying, like, a lot of your script kiddies, a lot of your bottom level, coders, a lot of these guys, can be easily replaced with people who understand the basics, because all you got to do is just type in the information, and Chat GPT is at the point now where it can actually spit it out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my good friends' dads was like a phenom back in the 70s, 80s, and he got hired at HP. I want to say it was HP. And the first cut, he didn't finish his undergrad degree, but then 20 years later, when they started doing layoffs during that 90s .com bubble, he was one of the first ones laid off because he didn't have that degree. So like they know their talent, but they know their bottom line, which is business. They'll get rid of it.
Art?
What's up, peoples?
Hey, how you been?
I'm looking for a Baltimore bitch.
He's hiding right now. He's hanging out with friends.
What's he looking for that streetwalker for? Huh? You calling him about
I need for him to have a talk with me and Madden. That's all.
Oh hell! Here we go.
Let's put it this way, guys. If this song was, let's put it this way. If he was going to be singing "I'm in Love with a Stripper" by T-Pain, he gonna need Charles in here to do the Mike Jones part. Mike Jones.
I'll come play with you, Art. I'm not playing Madden, no. I don't play those. I seen you just get on Modern Warfare, so if you want to stream that, you can. I'll get on there with you.
That's fine. I don't know. Charles might be somewhere getting a knee replacement.
Oh, he's getting a back replacement from getting wrecked so hard trying to play Madden.
Nah, but what's going on, guys?
Not much. I just picked up Clip Studio and I love it.
You got a subscription, or you paid it for it?
I paid the one-time price. I'm gonna eventually get a subscription because it ain't that much.
Yeah.
For a year. Only $25 a year. That's not bad.
Is there no way to steal it?
Well, they went to a subscription-based model now, so it's kind of like Photoshop.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's right. There was a big kerfuffle about that. I think about a year ago. These companies don't want you to have anything.
It's not as bad as Photoshop, though.
In some aspects.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my opinion, it's not as bad as the Photoshop model. The Photoshop model is like $600 a year, if not more.
Well, that's because you could do a lot more in Photoshop than just,
Yeah.
Clip Studio should basically just a drawing program. Photoshop is pretty much image manipulation, drawing.
It's
everything under the sun.
It's more expensive for program. Does a lot more than that. Does animation and comics.
Yeah, I think it's like 200 some bucks.
Yeah,
you can still do comics there. You can still do animation. Your animations can't be that long though.
Yeah, I got that version, the pro version. I don't have the EX version, but with this version, one of the reasons I got this, one of the reasons I made me look at Clip Studio. I'm gonna make another one here. Make a. Where I'm going here. Here we go. One reason I got the Clip Studio is these references, man. These references are a lifesaver.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I got like the little dolls that they have that you can take pictures of.
Pause.
Shut up, PK.
Yeah,
but you can pose the figurines as how you want them.
Right,
you
like I'm doing now.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna show it, you need to blow it up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go there, PK.
I'm not going anywhere, man. That's ugh.
Don't say it.
Ugh.
Get your mind out the gutter. Exactly. Get your mind. Keep your mind. You know what? You know what, PK? In the words of Negro Night, stay off the weed.
If he says it 3 times, Charles will show up.
I know, right? Good point.
Actually, that's if I said Kingpin 3 times.
You know, Charles over here like Candyman and stuff, man.
So I didn't mean to interrupt the conversation. I was just trying to get into what you guys talking about.
Yeah, earlier we were talking about
Carl Sagan. We were talking about Carl Sagan a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we're talking about AI.
Well, actually, we were using Carl Sagan we were using Carl Sagan as an analogy.
I'm joking.
Carl Sagan, Neil deGrasse Tyson, in an analogy.
Yeah, we weren't talking about like productivity and being men of valor. We men seem to have conversations that can move about topics.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's Al's Colosseum night, so he can talk about whatever he wants to. I'm going to do a Colosseum tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm off tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So you enjoying the new job?
That's good.
It has its ups and downs, man. I'm not getting paid as much as I used to, but it's not as less.
You missed the brioche?
In some aspects, like I have to deal with people now. When the old job, I didn't have to deal with people. I could go in there by myself.
Ups and downs. There's ups and downs.
That is a big down. That's a big down.
Yep.
Yeah, people are stupid, man. I realize people are just dumb. People are just dumb. They're just dumb.
Yeah, like that's one of those things. Like, all right, if I'm gonna bounce it back to AM1, right? I like the guy. His setup is great. His camera work is great, but he does not get the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I know a lot of guys who do very well and make good money not dealing with people, right? And I know a lot of guys who make serious money not dealing with people, right? And I think, I don't know if it shows like his lack of imagination, because there's some of the people who are, let's say, in a Manosphere, make good money. Let's say 85 plus, right? But there's a couple people who have been derided for not making what they claim or being worth what they claim, and like, no, they make more than they say, but they don't want to say how much they make, and it's hard to pin that down, and you don't want that out there, that you're worth this, you can do this, you can make this, because like there's one person who's not popular with Charles, but this person is making more than what he says, and I was like, when he pointed it out, I was like, motherfuck, I wanted to like kick the ceiling. I was like, I know exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it, and I respect how he's doing it because he's putting a lot of young black men on. But it's crazy. It's like the lack of imagination is there, but it doesn't. It's like it can't crack that egg yolk open and show you how much.
Well, this is the issue. Probably one of the reasons why they make it so much money is you got to see how far the throat is. There's a lot of ass kissing and a lot of dick suckers.
Damn.
I'm just being honest with you. There's a lot of people that suck kiss ass that make a lot of money and they shouldn't even be there.
Wait, what do you mean?
Damn, boy, you
in the YouTube space?
blatant wrong with it.
No, I'm just talking about in jobs in general.
Oh, well, that's true. That's a
I
mean,
like I said,
I make good money, but like the person I'm talking about. Here, hold on. I'll put it in the back chat. The person I'm talking about, and he makes. Hold on, I'll put it in the back chat and I'll say like how he does it, and then you can go from there.
I mean, if he makes his money.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I knew that who that was. Yeah.
I was like, when he said it, I was like, I thought that was what he was doing, and then when he said it and he pointed out how, I was like, motherfucker, he's doing what I want to do, but he's doing it in a way that, look, any man would be proud of. He's hitting it. He's hitting it on like.
Okay, but what does that do for me? Nothing.
Not for you, but it means that maybe they're hearing his language, and then he shows up on a panel like this, and then he spreads out the gospel in a sort of way.
Anton cares about himself.
Ah, damn it!
I think he's a businessman. I think he's just a businessman. Yes. He's feeling a need because there's a like if you have a half foot in of the purple space and a half foot in the red space, and you can get people on both sides, you can get a lot of people watching your stuff, especially if you're confrontational, because that's what people are looking for. I think that's what the SBE guys are trying to do. They're trying to get some confrontation because it gets clicks, right?
That's fine if that's what you want. But are you red pill if you do that?
Well, are you? Oh, shoot.
Are you? Because there was a conversation that BGS and the rest of the guys had before they monetized red pill, and they said, should the red pill be monetized?
Wait, all right. Did you ever deal with Six Cigadas and get your ass burnt over a fire? I think that turned him. I think he saw like, hey, Kevin dealt with her and she was mean with him, and now I'm gonna deal with her and maybe she'll be right with me because I know that I'm that guy. And he was like, nah, this woman is a hyena. She's a hyena. And
I mean, of course. What do you expect?
Yeah. But you want to hope for the best, right?
She's a fucking stripper.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's because of that, because I've known some strippers that like, look, I go to my past a little bit, but like I know some strippers who are like cold-blooded, but they are nice to people who are nice to them. They know how reciprocity.
They're nice to people that don't look at them as hoes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're nice to people that don't judge them for what they do. Yes.
Most of them I know wind up just burning through their money. They just burn through that shit like it's on fire. Like,
money comes easy to you. I mean, you think it's always going to come easy to you, right?
So that's why they don't.
It is.
I don't like them because of their standards and the way they carry themselves and their occupation. Oh, okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'll say the one stripper I know I can think of who did really well. She used to run a bag, going from Northern Virginia down to Orlando, and she would just make a run. And her home base was in like the southern area of Virginia, like that Virginia North Carolina border. And she would make a bag.
Motherfuckers around here.
But she was cold blooded. She was not about that whole like. She was not trying to live a lifestyle. She had like a dynamite, like top tier Toyota Camry, and she just ran the wheels off of it. No, because it's a reliable vehicle.
Those things run forever.
She wound up buying.
I know, but I'm just saying that sounds more so as like a regular.
She was
sounds practical. This sounds smart.
I get you, but if you look at today's women, you got a Toyota Camry as a guy, they're gonna look at you like a bum.
Yeah, but as a woman, it was nice. It had the leather, had the CD player with the six tracks, and then she ran through it, and then she wound up buying 3 of those Curves gyms, the workout areas for like old fat ladies. And then she wound up started losing money because women don't like to work out that much. And then she wound up buying a bunch of health food places, like organic, vegan, that type of shit. She was one of those people who she had foresight.
She would do better if she did the workout place and she made wine to make
real. Well, I haven't talked to her in about 10 years. She could be doing that. Because
if you make a women-owned brand wine like what's that?
Yes.
Like
exception. She's an exception.
Wines, that's woman-owned. And
yeah.
Like Black Girl Magic wine that places sell.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't say it out loud.
You make a Black Girl Magic wine that's like a
that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's a Black Girl Magic wine.
You make it like a cuvee or like this. Like if you worked, I used to work in alcohol sales. Black women like very specific wines, and white women like very specific wines. Latina black women like very sweet wines, and white women you want to give them like a glass of Chardonnay with a bunch of ice cubes in it, and they'll be happy.
What ice
frozen grapes?
Yes, yes.
And wine?
Hey, BGS.
Yeah, hey, what's going on? Yeah, white people like
what's going on, BGS?
Dry. What's going on?
Ice cubes that dilutes it.
It's supposed to dilute it. It's actually supposed to.
Danger.
Wine?
Yes.
I've always seen. See, I've always seen white people with chillers in their house, and
they'll do that too.
And they don't put ice cubes in; they just drink it straight out of the chiller.
If it's dry, it dilutes it enough. Yeah.
Man, I've known.
Well,
I've sold enough.
Not easy to drink.
Because I've seen what it looks like. You know when Kevin said, buy a dog and die alone? I've seen that when that happens with a white woman, and that's not pretty. I've seen like I used to deliver alcohol for like liquor stores and stuff, and that was one of my first jobs because I used to do that 60 hours a week. I used to deliver wines. It is a very big difference. The best guy I saw was better than the best girl I saw. The worst guy I saw was better than the worst girl I saw. The best guy used to run. He was a policy guy for like the alcohol bureau. I can't remember which one it was, but he used to sell like anytime you want to get like any liquor that's coming from absinthe is making a craze back in the United States. He was the guy, right? And he was like a fat old man, but he had the prettiest women and he had the best apartment I've ever seen in my life. It was like a 3-story condo, right? And then a couple blocks away, and this is a high-end zip code, was the worst woman I ever saw. She was like a high-end attorney, white shoe law firm, and she was like old white woman, probably like 45 to 50. She wasn't terrible looking, but you could smell the piss coming up to her door. And I would drop off 2 bottles of Absolute and a bag of Skittles, a big bag of Skittles. And she would pick that up, and I would open the door, and it would smell like just that ammonia would hit me in the face like a punch.
Bunch of cats.
Yeah, because she had like 2 or 3 cats. You could see them in the background and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, thank you," and she wouldn't tip at all. And it was a sad life. Men who get older do well. You're not gonna be 6-pack Johnny, but you can do very well if you're doing very well.
Hey, as long as I can pay for some play, I'll be all right. Women play and pop a blue pill, I'll be all right.
Women don't do well alone. They're not built for that.
Nope. By the way, BGS, I want to apologize. I was very over talkative in your chat stream.
No, that's okay, man. No, don't worry about it.
Yeah, you gave me a soft warning.
I was trying to get people to get other people in who want to talk.
I do thank you for that, for your patience especially.
No, what it is, in the Patreon stream, it's there for you guys. So if you want to talk. But the thing is, if other people want to get in, I try to get them a little bit of room to get in. So I try not to. I have a lot more patience on my private stream.
Because, you got a Patreon?
My Patreon, because there's no audience. There's not a big audience. When there's a big audience, I can't let one people dominate. They'll start complaining. Yeah. This guy's talking too much. He's talking to people. Okay.
It's like 50 guys watching, 20, maybe 10 join in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, AM1 doesn't know because because you mentioned Salchi, and I was like, because I've talked to him on your streams, and I was like, because I know his neighborhood.
Yeah.
and you might be off by like maybe 20 grand, but I know that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like I could probably chop it up with him for like half an hour, and we'd be like, yep. Because I used to live in the Northeast, and I know exactly where he was talking. Yeah. Anyone doesn't get it.
Yeah. On because Rom has a stream, and Salchi has said what he's made, so I know what he makes. So.
Yep. Yep. Even Rom knows, man, because Rom is if I could bet, I would bet Rom is around like the Brandywine, like just between Baltimore and PG County, like in that general area, and like that's a very good area for Black people to be in. Like very comfortable, nice stuff is going on. You could live a good life there.
He said he lives in a 6-figure area in Baltimore County. Yeah. But about with these guys, man. The thing is that and I'm having to work with a couple of our PhDs about this, man. Okay, you guys got to give information, but you have to connect it. You have to connect it with the people's everyday lives. I said that's one thing that I do, right? This, some of the stuff I talk about is really esoteric, really highbrow, right? So I had to find a way to connect it to. Okay, well, this stuff, say like even like AI, right? Okay, AI in itself, we could talk about nodes, we could talk about neural networks and stuff like that. But the thing is, where does it meet you on the ground? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's
what I'm worried about.
Yeah. At the cash register.
What a cash register. If you have support jobs that pushes paper, like HR, right? HR is one of those places. Billing, medical billing, right? Sales, okay? If you're pushing a lot of paper, if you're talking to people, that's one thing, right? If you have to escalate you to talk to a person that to actually close the sale, that's fine, right? A lot of your mortgage stuff is paperwork is done by AI now first, and then they escalate it to the next person in case there's something that the AI can't figure out. But a lot of mortgage and loan applications are done by AI now. You go online, you type some shit out. It can look at your bank accounts, it can look at your bills, it can look at whatever it needs to look at. It connect right to the computer, shoot it out, and then it can give you an estimate, and then it'll shoot it to a person.
Yeah.
So it cuts out like 5 people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since BGS is here, BGS tax is in effect. Support. Support the show.
Yeah, but to say something like like Sister Goddess is a stripper, right? And she's got to follow me. More than that. But the thing is that the thing is she should have been done what Pearl is doing. Okay. Pearl should be her model of what she should do.
Yep.
As far as making money.
Yeah. Pearl ran the table as far as YouTube.
Yeah.
She ran it.
So this is what I was trying to explain a second ago. It's one of the points I was making that you asked me about is that, if you're going to do this in the way that you're trying to do it, like, just embrace it. Like, you want to be a fucking grifter, go ahead and do it the right way.
Yeah.
You want to make money, that's what you're about, right?
Look at I watch Pearl in the back, like I mean I work from home, right?
Yeah.
And so I watch like just random YouTube stuff, right?
Yeah.
And most of my stuff in the morning is finance, and then in the afternoon I'll get into Manosphere stuff like early morning, right?
Yeah.
10 a.m. to noon. And like Pearl, like I remember seeing Pearl was just like just doughy white chick reviewing stuff, and then she like hit upon a thing, wound up in England, and basically got paid by working on volleyball to move to England, and she fucked up for the first 3 or 4 streams. And you go back probably and find it where she was like, 45 minutes of just the sound not working, the video not working.
Yeah.
And then she got her volleyball people in there and then made some interesting content. And then boom, hit it. She hit a stride. And then like she got her roommate or one of her teammates to go on there, the light-skinned black chick. And then she got what's his name? The one who's King Rich's girlfriend, wound up meeting her, and like all that shit just fell into place. But she had the undergirding, and she had like a nice investment of five to 10 grand from her parents, and it helped her to get over that. But she took a risk, and she had an undergirding to do it.
Yeah,
I can't blame her for that.
Yeah. She had a little
I will say though,
she had a little help from Ben Shapiro's manager that it gave her an inside track. But
focus.
But she had a stride. Yeah.
But I'll say one thing she did on an interview. She said she wanted to be a good. She said she wanted to be a good mother, daughter, and sibling. And I was like, She said she wanted to be a good wife. Like there's a little bit of hustle in there, and there's a little bit of modern woman in there. She knows what she's up to.
Yeah, she knows what she's up to. Yeah, but the thing is that that Sister Goddess should have done reactions just like Pearl did. And
she shouldn't have fucked up Kevin. She shouldn't have tried to take him out.
Show some cleavage, stand in front of the camera, Do some. Melanie King did the same thing.
Yeah,
with you, yeah, and smiled at the camera every now and then.
And it works. And this is the issue: is that they're trying to push in a way while screaming at the audience that you know you're not following me the way that you ought to follow me. Like, that's not gonna work, bro.
No,
it's not gonna work.
No.
Because there's a type of woman that men want to follow.
Yeah.
Women are always going to be more popular in this space just because sex sells. Right. They can show titties.
Yeah. Show titties, smile a lot, and say less.
And Pearl doesn't have any of that, but she just plays nice. She just plays like a nice girl.
She's the girl next door.
Well, no, she's the that guy girl.
Yep.
Your buddy. Yeah. That's
not Topanga, but like the girl, the guy next door.
No, not Topanga. Like, Pearl's more like a tomboy, that understands.
Every black man has a little.
Fine. That's a fine woman right there.
She's your platonic girlfriend, like friend.
Yeah, friend. Because she's not pretty enough to be a Topanga. I think it's Topanga.
Yeah.
She plays magic with you on the weekends.
Right.
Yeah. And you might accidentally have sex with her.
It may be if you're both drunk enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, this was amazing.
Yeah, and at the post of clarity, shit. What did I just do?
or you wake up and she's making you an omelet with like blue cheese. You're like, oh,
you wonder why.
Paid attention.
That's a whoops! I fell into some pussy sort of type of thing that you never
I try
talk
not to do that, man, because they don't like to leave.
That's a bad time. I mean, it's a good time.
Don't make that leg shake.
Oh, no, you're not. Especially if she's under 30. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
They just remember that video that I sent you that you did a video on. Talking about
dickmatized,
Yeah, that's what I was like. That nigga better leg shake. Like, why would you make a dude leg shake?
I keep telling people, like, if you're good in bed, bro, like, if you know you're good in bed, like, as a man, okay, like, don't be hitting girls with the ooh wee, bro. Like, just calm down.
Don't dig her out.
Yeah.
Don't dig it out. Don't dig it out.
Give it to her slower. Yeah. Because if not, you're gonna have your tires.
And don't lay down in the bed with her either.
Don't fall asleep.
Oh, you remember that, huh?
Yeah. Hey, listen, old man. That happened to me once. I said nope.
I got a personal for this that help you guys. I got a personal.
You don't want to do the stethoscope.
Yeah, I remember too much shit, man.
If you guys want to hear, I got a personal rule that'll save you from it. You only 5 strokes. Don't give her no more than 5 strokes. Get out. Hey, if you can't get a good feeling after 5 strokes, that's on you, dude. You just overdoing it, and you couldn't give your own self 5. Give them 5 strokes, and if they get mad, come back. Oh, is this all you got? You got damn right. And don't give them no more for what? I
gotta finish, bro. Like, no, we gotta get done. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, you can't hit them with the backbreaker DDT.
No,
bro. Like, you can't do it.
I don't even.
You can't jump from the top rope on the first time.
I tell you this much. After I got finished, I laid down. She laid down with me. She looked at me in my eyes. I was like, oh shit. Let me get up. She all on my chest. I was like, oh hell no. Looking at me straight in my fucking eyes. I wasn't even looking. I was like, oh shit.
I said, there's not even like let's say there's like 50 moves you can do, right? It's not even like sometimes the moves can do it, but a lot of time that woman is like pre-qualified for you. And then she will fold into like, oh, this is the guy, and we're having sex. And then she'll be like, oh my God, that was amazing. And if you could do all the moves, you're even better. But if it's like a girl that you just
all the moves have to lead to one spot, man. As long as you concentrate on that one spot, the moves, you only need a couple. You know,
as Stephen Cole says, you're digging her out. If you do that, and she's into you. Oh, you're fucked. Or
kind of. Yeah, depends.
What is it?
It depends. It depends.
Actually, While we're on this topic, I've never heard BGS actually talk about this subject, but what do you think this is high body count, like high sex culture is doing to like women emotionally? Because you just talked about the eyes, right? Like you have all of that passionate stuff, and then you look at them in the eyes and they're leaving. If that happens with like 10 guys, what does that do to a woman?
Oh, the thing is okay, and this is something that they've actually done studies on this. That's how come low body count women stay married longer. Okay, because a woman's chemical makeup is built to bond. Okay, so if she can only bond to so many guys effectively, so just like any drug, right? You take any drug, I don't care what it is, right? The pain pill, any kind of drug, right? Your body will put up a resistance to that drug. Okay, oxytocin and all those hormones that a woman excretes, her body will react the same way to it. If she does it all the time, right? If she bonds to like 10 guys, something like that, guess what's going to happen to the strength of those bonds over time? Okay, first guy's 100%, right? Next guy maybe 90%, right? Next guy might be 75, then 50, then 20, then at some point it's going to be like less than 10% bond, right? So that's why I'm not saying this is for all women, okay? Because I've had high body count women, and basically the only way to break that is you have to all them guys that went before, you got to scale up the amount of lipids and actually get in line behind at least that first guy, okay? So that's
reformat them.
But even then, her body's not going to react to the oxytocin, okay, the same way. So you have to go through a high body count woman a different way. You can't go through her physically; you have to go through her mentally.
Yeah,
no, let me ask you this.
I would say it's more difficult to do, man. But unfortunately, like what you playing with fire. You could do it, but you're playing with fire. I wouldn't even bother going through the effort personally. But you're dealing with a being that's already kind of really, in a sense, damaged already. You can't really. You gotta.
No,
it's like buying a Toyota, man, with 180,000 miles on it. Okay.
Yep.
How many miles?
Get another 100,000. You can get another 100,000, but you don't risk it.
I want to ask this question because you've been talking about the coming back to the table. How hypothetically, how should guys come back to the table with high? I don't know. What's the right word to use?
Here's one thing.
With high body count women.
Yeah, like
here's one thing. Here's one thing.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Sidney Poitier, God rest his soul. He was in a good movie called To Serve with Love. The very end of it was a statement that finished. He was talking to young British women, and it's not black, but British white women. He said, "No man wants to marry a whore, and no woman would respect a man who would." So you can have that woman, but she won't respect you if you take her.
You can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
It's okay. Diesels and high body count women, but women that are whores, okay, their brain works differently. You can't physically connecting with them is not going to work the same way, right? So you have to do it mentally. It's got to be mentally. Okay, you have it's how can I explain it, right? There's a little girl in every woman, right? And it's hard to find that little girl in that woman. You can find her, okay, and connect with her, or you can have that woman. But the thing is, how many potholes and landmarks you have to dig to actually find that little girl and connect with her. So in other words, a high body count woman, you can get her to number one, to actually accept you. But there's two things. One, she's got to pick you for whatever reason. Okay, she got to pick you. Number one. Number two, okay, you got to connect with her. And then you got to connect with her mentally, because physically she done had all those. She had all sides of penises, and she's been flipped around and stuff like that. And I've had girlfriends, I've had high body count women tell me this position and that kind of stuff, right? And in fact, my fiance was high body count, and it took me about 6 months to figure out. And I said, okay, how can I crack this code? So I went back and asked her about her first, and I really got into deep detail about him and about how they got down sexually, right? And after I figured out, man, when I first got, it took like maybe an hour and a half to make her orgasm, right? After I figured out, it was like 10 minutes. She was pissed because I cracked the code. But it was more mental than it was physical.
It would behoove guys going back to the table to know these things, I would imagine.
Well, if you're going back to the table, the thing is, all the chicks that are at the table are not high body count. Okay, so you got to remember that.
Good point. Good point.
It depends on what you call high, high body count. Today is probably not high body count. Yeah. I don't know. The thing is,
high school boyfriend, college boyfriend or two.
It's gonna be okay. Really, to find a chick, that's in her 20s, that's got less than 5 is gonna be kind of hard in this
environment. Yeah, it's real bad.
In this culture, especially the way with the dating apps and the rotations, all that kind of shit, man. Where this stuff is just available, willy nilly. Okay, so physically, well, unfortunately, most guys are not good at sex. That's probably
that's your saving grace, really.
That's your saving grace. Most guys can have sex with her. Most guys can't get her off. So that's your saving grace. Because I had a couple high body count chicks that the guys they were with didn't really know what they were doing. So it helped. Because to further connection, got an orgasm.
And that can be hard for
I heard that.
Not gonna lie, from what I hear anyway.
For some women it's a little tougher, and try to find that button can be harder because women are actually built differently, a little bit differently inside, and some slant one way, some slant the other, and sometimes the little button is a little further in, or it's not as big.
Depends on the woman.
Yeah, depends on the position you hit it as well. I mean, because
your position depends on your anatomy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So your anatomy, because men's anatomy, all men's anatomy is not the same, right? So you try to hit that button. You could curve up, you could curve down, sideways, or straight ahead, right? And then that's going to determine how you hit that button.
Yeah, that's why
for some guys, if you ain't got the right length or slot, curvature,
length is, if you're average, that's enough. The thing is, if you're average and that's enough, and I think girth probably matters more than length.
It does.
It is.
Yeah,
girth does, because they would like to feel full when you stick it in.
I would think the thing is the button, you put more pressure on that button when you go in.
And
the more pull and drag on it when you go in and out.
You get a little drag because everybody knows what a button is, right? If you find that button and you can connect with it, because I thought probably to my egress, I probably helped a couple of guys turn some chicks out by teaching them that little technique. You know what a button is, right? First, you got to get it engorged, right? You got to get it stimulated enough for that button to actually protrude out. Okay. Hey, I'm not gonna give no more game unless you guys go ahead and
donate.
We're in Triple X talk, bro. You guys should be putting money in.
Arousal versus attraction.
You guys really need this.
I know.
You put that cash app in, buddy.
I know an end around. There's an end around.
Yeah,
all
the
cash app
stuff.
Yeah, well,
this is real game right here.
Yeah, this is. I've gotten a bunch of guys in trouble with this shit. In fact, one of my buddies, he used it so well that he was gonna leave his fiance for this chick. I said, "Are you nuts?
Oh,
are you nuts?
Oh man,
are you nuts?" Because she responded so well, and she had a lot of issues after he left. Yeah. Anyway,
what about the fiance?
I don't know if his. That's a long story.
No, not yours. His, not yours. BTS. I mean his.
He never left her. That's a long story too. But he never left. I said, you gonna take a chick that makes basic money versus a chick that makes really good money? Are you nuts? Why would you trade in Mercedes for a Toyota? That makes sense.
Why would you downgrade?
Why you downgrade? Yeah, for sex? Are you nuts, man? Come on, man. For some pussy.
Keep her as a side chick, maybe, but that's about it.
Yeah, the side chick. Now he was like, man, we can do a whole bunch of things together, and she down for, and man, shut the fuck up, okay? Stop being stupid, okay?
Man,
yeah,
I mean,
just because she's responded doesn't mean that you fall in love with her and then throw away your other stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. You don't trade in a winning hand.
You never know. Some dudes are retarded.
I can't tell them what to do, but I'm just giving them the game. Give them the game, man.
I remember it's like
You got to think with your big head instead of your little head.
Yeah, because your big head can get your little head very pleased.
Nah, your big head get your ass in trouble.
And you little, if you little big head, little head, yeah.
Because like
a little head gets
I would tell a lot of guys, if you're like in a college town, go post graduation weekend and see who's just figuring out what's going on. Because you can find a lot of ladies who are 21 to 24, undergrads, grad students, and they are ready to get down, and they're figuring out their next step.
It depends. It depends on what your get down is, right? Easiest pussy for a young guy is a chick over 35.
Actually,
that's true.
Usually,
I've had that for like 15 years.
Dudes in their late teens, early 20s, like your target is actually boomers.
I would say add 10 years though.
Yeah, if you're like 27, then then the reaching down makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, because like the whole, you got to match.
Not want to get a buzzer beater, baby.
Unless it's peer to peer. If it's peer to peer, then that's a different story. Okay.
Yeah, well, I got to reach down now. Got the women my age, just like
When you hit around 30, your mid 30s, early 40s.
You go either way. You go either way. Yeah.
All right.
I said between 30 and 30 and 35, you can go plus or minus 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 35 is like that was the best.
It's sweet spot. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're in like you can still maintain your physical condition, and your money is going up and not down.
Yeah.
And then if you're in the right place at the right you can run the table.
Yeah.
Like, I'm past that point.
Yeah. You can go up or down. So that's the thing about being in like your mid 30s, because you can date down into the mid to early 20s and all the way up into the early to mid 40s.
Like there's a show on HBO called Dream On. That was like the best example of what you could do at that age. That guy in the show was a little old, but it was like basically women are open, they're doing their thing. You really can't do much to like rein them in. Have fun.
You got anything coming in, AB?
1 second.
Yeah, we can go to talk about something else.
I always tell guys like, go ahead, AB, go ahead.
Thank you, KB more for the $5, and thank you, Passport OG for the $5.
Gotcha.
And wait a minute, I think I got one more. Thank you, Toya, for the $5.
Okay, that's enough. All right, basically,
thank you, DS, for the $5.
Okay, basically, okay, the clitoris. People don't realize the clitoris extends inside the walls of the vagina. Okay.
Yep.
That's your target. So you stimulate the clitoris. Basically, is the what we call the G spot will swell. Okay.
Yep.
And depending on where the condom, no condom, the thinness of the condom, right? The bigger the target, the more you can hit. Yeah. Well, if you did thick latex, it's going to be a little issue. But the thing is, you still can get it done. Okay. If
I said non-latex, sir.
Okay, non-latex. The thing is that once it swells into that bump, you can feel that little bump. That little bump is your target. Okay.
Yep.
And
it's
that's
like a golf ball. It's like a golf ball.
When women uses a dildo, that's what she hits. Okay.
Yep. We're talking about the G spot, folks.
I like to say silence.
Oh God! You said G spot. Charles showed up.
3 times.
He was here already. He was just waiting for the right time to clown on you.
Charles been here for a minute.
Last time I checked, your last 5 girlfriends called me to get it. But anyway, I like to say.
Wait, he had 5.
I mean, he thought they were his girlfriends, but they were.
It doesn't matter. He went through them.
No, actually, he didn't. They were just rubbing. They were scissoring. But anyway.
All right.
Wow.
As long as my dick was between them, it don't matter.
Well,
here we go.
This way, her clit was longer than your dick, so it didn't matter. So it did matter.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Art of it more. Everybody's favorite eunuch. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's the basic technique. So no matter what you some women like to feel more full because they'll add something to it. But basically, the little get down is that little button. If you hit that little button, okay, you know how to work that little button. Okay, unless you really short, okay, you can get it done.
Oh, hey, short because your head gets right.
Charles, fuck you.
Talk about art like that.
Okay.
So what? This man.
Have you ever seen?
Go ahead.
Every morning.
Have you ever seen a spiralized hot dog? Do you know when they cut like a hot dog around like a corkscrew?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right. Like I've heard it described that the G-spot region is like if you did that and flattened out a hot dog, where instead of this point, you just kind of turn this thing lengthwise.
It's actually a button. Okay.
Yeah. The button is the end expression of it, but like there's a whole like cornucopia of nerves.
Well, the clitoris is nerve endings. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
Nerve endings extend inside. And what guys don't realize that the nerve endings is actually inside too. That's your spot.
Yeah, but there's like a compound of like nerves that are hidden that if you hit the right spot, you're like rubbing against it, and it's like a flattened out version of that, like unrolled hot dog, if I can explain it like that, up in the upper pelvis where the fupa would be, really. And if you stimulate that, and the golf ball that you were talking about, that if you're in the right direction for her, you can hit that intravaginal.
What I'm saying is, if
I don't want to get arms kicked out.
Because you can actually do it with your fingers. I taught guys how to do it with
their
fingers. If you click it with your fingers, right, the little golf ball with your fingers, right, it does the same thing. Okay.
Yes.
And you can feel it too.
You can feel it. Yeah.
It feels like I tell it. It feels like a golf ball. It feels like a golf ball when you're like, it's like that bumpy Titleist.
Yeah, it is bumpy. I guess it's like a smaller golf
ball. It depends how wet she is.
Yeah.
Or like a pecan.
It also depends
you know what
on
I mean?
how you enter.
Somebody said patron game.
It also depends how you enter her. Because most girls I've dealt with, for me to hit that, I'll put her on her side.
That's my boy.
And then I enter it from like that.
You will know
it depends on your anatomy too. So
and how you curve.
You curve. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So you will know that you entered it the right way when she starts, involuntarily moaning.
Yeah,
and that's
the movement, the moaning, all of that stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
When you get it in, I know. I speak from experience. But yeah.
Well, the moaning's part of it, but also she'll start spasming if you hit it.
She shakes that left leg.
No. I'm not talking about her whole body, but internally she'll start. The vagina will start spasming a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you make a climax and that, she'll start convulsing.
No. That's pre-climax.
Yeah, talking about like have you ever noticed like with a woman when she's actually really enjoying it, how her pussy would. Don't want to be too graphic, but how her box will actually move.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, in fact, if you're hitting it right, basically, and she's ready to go, the one good sign is her butt cheeks will start to contract because she's actually trying to push you against that box.
She's resisting.
Yep.
Yeah, she's not resisting. No, she resists. She's trying to do is clench her cheeks and contract her vagina, actually push you. Compress that box.
And the one thing about her, she doesn't want a one-time offender. She wants a repeater.
Yep.
We've given you the game on what not
She wants a
to
repeat offender. She doesn't
want repeat customers.
She wants a repeat offender, baby.
This from the serial sexology.
Yeah, this is there's two. I always recommend two books, right? Which is The Alchemy of Love and Lust by Teresa Crenshaw, right? It gives you all the chemicals, physics, and all the kind of stuff that goes on with the female. Okay, and then the who really talks about the orgasm very well is Mantak Chi, is the multi-orgasmic male. He actually shows the chart about stages of orgasms, right? And basically, some mistakes that guys make Y'all have to, you guys are watching, man. Y'all hit the Cash App, right? Because I'm not supposed to be giving this away.
I just did.
Really.
In other words, I wish I had the chart in front of me, right? But there's stages of it, right? So I think there's like 4 or 5 stages of one female's orgasm, right? So she'll get a little one, right? What happens is she gets a little one, she'll fall back off, right? And she can continue to do that, indefinitely, right? But thing is, say you get a chick, and I've had a few chicks, man, they got little ones continuously, right? I said, okay, this is going to take too long, right? So what you do is what I did, and this is what he suggests you do, right? Right before she gets that little one, you stop. Say, hold it. Okay? And it compresses. So basically she goes up another level. And you do that until she reaches closer to that top level, right? And then that's when you go ahead and let her release. You go, and she takes her ass to sleep.
Oh, delayed gratification. Delayed gratification.
But the thing is that those things will build up, right? And
a build up. It's a build up. So it's like delayed gratification.
So and I had to do that with a few women. Okay. But
that's understandable.
I mean, I think that Edward Anderson is a troll account.
Hold on, wait a minute. Okay.
Can you snipe it?
Yeah, we got somebody got it.
Got it. That's definitely a troll account.
Yeah, because I talked to Ed yesterday, so
yeah.
BGS.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like since we're talking about this, also like I said, like sometimes condoms also have to, protection is important. Like certain brands, they also have condoms that have condoms that have like certain ridges and bumps on them to help for a guy to work that kind of thing.
They can work.
And I know, I speak from my own experience with those because I remember there was one called Pleasure Max, and I remember but Durex, they had one called Pleasure Max. They had ribs and dots on it, but there was another condom called Performa, which had like a chemical that would delay orgasm for the man. And the chick and the woman I was involved with at one time, she liked it when I used the Pleasure Max, but she always wanted me to use the Performa, which didn't make any sense because I could last like a couple hours not busting it up. But I was like, all right. And I noticed that the condom in it had like what's it called? Benzoprene or benzo something. That like delayed gratification. Not me.
Okay. Is that OG outside?
It's OG.
I know. He sounds like he's on the beaches of.
That was air conditioning. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Got my air conditioning on. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
He was on the beaches of Minnesota.
I thought he was.
It's hot. It's hot, man.
Okay, I get you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I get far away from
I get it.
I'm actually not far off from that. I'm gonna be trying to do the digital nomad stuff in a couple months. I'm gonna make a test run down in Florida and then make a jump into South America. So I'll put some camera work on in one of these lives and then hopefully in the next 6 to 9 months. Yeah, but I'm gonna try and go just after their summer. When it starts to cool off, because I don't want to go in there.
Isn't that when hurricane season takes place? Isn't that when
it's hurricane season? It's close, but I want it to cool down a little bit, and I've got a couple of spaces. Yeah, I'm gonna try and meet up with what's his name, Skylar, and then I got a couple other places I want to go, but I'm like, even in the Discord, I'm not dropping. I was like, no, I'm not gonna let you.
It's too soon.
Yeah, I want to go to Rio. I do want to go to, but South America I've never been to. The closest I've been is Trinidad. But yeah,
Rio is South America.
Yeah. No, I mean that'll be the first time I'll be in South America.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean I've been to Asia, Africa, Europe, most of the Caribbean, and all in North America, but never been to South America or Australia. So I'm like, that's gonna be the next frontier.
Yeah, just
so you've been to TNT?
Sorry, what?
You've been to TNT, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Yes.
Where Port of Spain or some other place.
Okay, y'all just gonna have to give me a minute.
Go ahead.
Look here, you fucking troll. Oh, wait a minute. Look here, you fucking troll. I don't care what you think about Ed. Keep his mama's name out your motherfucking mouth and get the fuck out of my chat room.
No, we already bounced him, so you already been blocked.
Number one,
basically, AB, what you got to do is you got to get him out of your chat. So bet you just click on this name and get him out of your chat.
No. Oh yeah.
No, he's hidden. He's good.
No, I'm just saying just so it doesn't show up anymore. That's all.
You just have to,
because it will show on your StreamYard chat, but it won't show on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you report his ass because I'm like, look, number one, you dumbass motherfuckers.
I think that's Sexy Red though.
You don't talk about a man.
Oh, you think it's Messy Red? Oh, okay.
I think it's Sexy Red. Messy Red.
You don't talk about a man who's going through the pain of losing a parent.
No.
The reason why I said it yesterday. A lot of you motherfuckers are being very disrespectful because online protects you. I'm pretty fucking
anonymity.
sure that if you fucking did it in his face, he would slap the piss out of you.
It's classless too.
I would.
I don't understand how this helps them at all. You know,
because these are some sick people who had no fucking lives. Yeah. You fucking pathetic assholes.
Yeah, I mean, like the only thing I can say that's generally positive is that there's the Aesop's riddle that a grandfather, then a father, then a son, all pass in that order. If that order is broken up, then the world is in chaos. That's the only thing that's positive. But outside of that, like, I couldn't say anything negative. I've never met the woman. I know Ed had a contentious relationship with her, but that's a very human.
She's a troll.
And
She's
very
not worth mentioning.
It's a painful place to be at, man. Like, and I don't want to lose a parent. I've lost grandparents, and I've seen people who've lost kids, and I don't want to be in any of those positions.
Yeah, it's not.
It's human decency.
No, it's not. And like I said, I've lost my mom, and me and my mom had our issues, but at the same time, even though he may have had his issues, he still loved her. Even though that.
Oh, I've cursed my mom out a couple of times. Not many, but I was like, man, what's wrong with you? A handful of.
Hey, I made that video. You're not fully red pill until you check your mom.
Yeah, I did. I think I did it at 21.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I did mine at 18. When I before I left home, I had to check her on some stuff.
Yeah.
Someone I think I know within among us who would best answer that question about losing a parent would be Brian Snow, because he lost both his parents.
Yep.
In a sense, because he lost his father to prostate cancer, and then he lost his mother like a few years later.
Ew, that's tough. That's tough.
I mean, he had it. He can explain his relationship with his father, his relationship with his mother, and how it was. But
I mean, there's that Steve Martin book talks about how he said he was so funny because he was irreverent, and he was like, you can be funny in a way that you can be in your 20s that you can't in your 30s, because once you hit your 30s, you start losing people. And you make jokes about cancer because when you're like 35, you're going to lose someone to cancer. When you're like 40, and like you don't get that until you go through it. And then you start like grandparents go, and then like a friend goes from like a drunk driving accident. And then like a parent goes from like cancer. It starts trickling. And then you're like, oh, life means something. Yeah. And a lot of people don't see that until they go through it, and they don't understand that.
That's one of the tough things about class reunions. You go to this class reunions, you got to be real careful asking about people's parents.
Yep.
You can't ask about it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. My high school graduation weekend, one of my best friends died in a car crash because they were going around from party to party, and one of the guys who was driving was too drunk, and then boom, went off the road.
Wow.
Like 18, prime of your life, and then that shit just happens, and they don't talk about that, but that shit happens.
It does. I mean,
all the time.
You're since the day you were born, you were always on borrowed time.
Yeah.
I mean, we all got to go someday, but the thing is that I think that we've lost any sort of respect for people's past relatives or close friends. Like that shit is. It's like there's nothing that's off limits anymore, and at this point, it's really disgusting. It's disgusting.
Well, how about just respect for people that are older than you? They know stuff that you don't, even if they don't know everything. They just know more than
you. You got a whole movement that says "Okay, Boomer." How's that?
You know, basically boomers. Anybody over 50 is a boomer to most of these people.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But it's technically
I
what,
had
61?
to check somebody for that.
What,
63 to like what, 80?
Yeah. Talking about boomers or Xers?
No,
boomers
Xers.
are like what, 1959 to 1960?
No, basically 1946 and 1964.
Yeah.
Oh, is that young? Is that
I
old?
had to
Oh, wow.
check.
Yeah. 64.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
I
lot
had
of your boomers
to,
are retiring right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of your
I had
boomers,
to,
the majority of your boomers aren't even in, they're exiting the workforce or
No,
passing
they're
away.
gone. They've been gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're moving out.
The bulk of your
They've
boomers
been
are
gone part-time right now.
the bulk of your boomers are over 65.
Yeah, my dad's an older boomer.
I mean-
He's heading out this year. My mother's an older boomer. She takes contracts every once in a while. Yeah, they're exiting or they're dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, my parents are boomers, like I said, but I remember one situation. I was on a bus ride talking to a friend, and she's got 2 daughters, teenagers. They're Gen Z, but you know the younger one's teasing and her parents calling them boomers. And I said, "What do you know about boomers?" And then I just asked her mom, "What year were you born?" And of course, you know, mom being mom, she wouldn't answer. So I said, "What decade were you born in?" She said 70s. She was born in the 70s. And then I had to explain to the little girl, to her daughter, who was 18 at the time, now 19, 20 by now. You moron. Do you know what a boomer is? That's your grandparents. Your mom is a Gen Xer. You know what a Gen Xer is? She didn't know anything about that. And I've known this young lady since she was like 8, 9 years old. So it was kind of weird.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. I don't have any problems for the most part with boomers. My problems were Gen X.
I got problems with everybody. I hate everybody.
I hate everybody too. I'm just saying, if it comes down to a generation of people that you know I can't trust,
oh yeah,
it would have to be Gen X.
Gen X, yeah, Gen X.
I can't trust Gen X because those are my older brothers, older sisters, people that were ahead of me, people that undercut me,
annoying older cousins. Annoying older cousins.
Let me put it to you this way, right?
Well, goddamn, boy, that's how you.
I'm not saying all of you. But majority of the people who I interacted that were Gen X, it was horrible interactions. For the most part.
I'm gonna do this.
Did you take Gen X you around? Did you take it in that matter too? You just can't. It just can't totally be You gotta look in the mirror sometimes, bro.
I'm just saying. I am a self-reflecting motherfucker, and I'll be honest with you. I think about.
I'm sorry, was that self-reflecting or self-deflecting?
No, I am a self-reflecting motherfucker. I think about all the shit that I do all the time, and most of the shit, especially the women, y'all women suck. I'll just be honest. Gen X sucks like
you ain't telling that shit.
Gen X women hit the wall. That's all.
Gen X women suck, man. I understand why y'all don't get married like that because y'all women suck.
I'm gonna say this about the boomer hate. See, this is what happens when people don't study history. The boomers.
Y'all hit the cash app for all this knowledge.
Yeah, get the fucking cash.
Go get them, baby.
Give them $. Drop them $. Drop them $.
I'm gonna tell you what about the boomer hate. A lot of you punk motherfuckers, right? Y'all don't realize the boomers started out in segregated schools.
Yes, they did.
They had to schools, and the first generation to be integrated into these schools. A lot of you punk bitches are the reason why you need a safe space. Do I need to repeat that for the niggas in the back?
I think everyone sucks, and I hate everyone. I fucking hate you all.
I mean, PK,
it's official. PK is a misanthrope. Let's put it this way.
Anyway.
PK is a misanthrope.
So you gotta understand something. When people talk about the boomers, I'm gonna say this, and I don't care what people on YouTube or what you hear. Y'all keep saying the boomers fucked up the money. And the black community, when the fuck did we ever have the money?
Really?
Because you do know that a lot of the shit that was supposed to go to us never came. And I mean, you got people who were boomers from fucking the Vietnam era. Who, I mean, goddamn, one of the first Green Berets in February, I think, or January, he just got the Medal of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Yeah, there's not to say that there's bad boomers, but
there's bad in every generation.
But here's
exactly, yeah.
Here's the point that people don't get. That guy was denied the Medal of Honor for 50 fucking years. His kids go to any service academy without question. Now you gonna give it to him? The man's in his 80s. So think of how many of his kids would have got, even I'm pretty sure they all went to college, but think of how easily that should have been from an Ivy League level school. But we want to talk about the money. Okay. How much money do we 150 years after slavery? I'm really questioning a lot of these motherfuckers calling themselves actually intelligent. By the way, the boomers are the reason why you don't have Klan rallies in the middle of your fucking towns.
Yeah.
Because a lot were not their parents who were nonviolent. They were with the smoke shit.
Actually, I'll push back a little bit. I'll push back a little bit on that one. Is that a lot of the boomers were the first ones integrated, but the quiet gen, silent gen, were the like Montfort Point Marines types. My grandfather was a Montfort Point Marine, right? Those are the ones who had the rifles who were like, "Don't fuck with my kids." So it's like it's a mix between parents protecting kids.
Let me put it to you. A lot of your
we already went through this with the Kerner Commission, man. It was most of your people that were riding in the streets were a lot of young teenagers, and they were the boomers.
They were the boomers.
Yeah. And their parents were out there protecting them. That's what I'm saying.
No, they weren't.
No, they weren't.
A lot of your silent generation were actually to get along. You had a very small percentage, like the Deacons of Defense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, majority of the ass whoopings the Klan received. Okay, majority were from boomers. Let's get the history back straight. The majority.
I can point out.
Remember,
that,
these
my
motherfuckers
mentioned it. I know what you're saying.
Majority.
Hold on, let him finish.
The reason why a lot of these motherfuckers don't come to your black enclaves is because of the fear of God the boomers put in their asses.
Yeah. They were the gangbangers. They were
Okay, you got to remember the small amount of the Deacons of Defense from the solid.
Hold on, let him finish.
The small amount of the Deacons of Defense who were World War II vets were small.
That's the golden generation.
Compared to the, because you got to understand something. A lot of the fucking boomers did not believe in being nonviolent.
No.
They did not. Were too pissed off and angry. They were the ones who said, "Call me nigga again."
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Call me nigga again. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. It was if you really want to be historically correct, it was your Gen Xers who made the word nigga acceptable.
And they was.
So when Gen X try to say, "Well, y'all fucked up the money," well, a lot of you Gen X motherfuckers were hooked on crack.
Whoa! The Gen Xers wasn't on crack. That was the baby boomers.
No, they were on crack.
No, listen. I was born in '77. I remember crack. I remember crack. That was.
Let's put it this way. Free Ricky Ross grew up like half a mile from me. Okay, L.A. was where crack actually landed first. Okay.
Well,
I remember the guy. My buddy at work cooked it. Okay, before it actually hit the streets in 1981. Okay.
So Gen X start winning 65, right?
Yeah.
So by the time
crack hit where I'm from Philly, right? So crack hit Philly like around 85,
so
84, 85. Yeah, I know, because LA had it first. So like all the big time guys where I'm from, like the Junior Black Mafia, you know, like Rich Porter and all them dudes was boomers. They wasn't Gen Xers. Like so when crack hit, I was like 10. Maybe I was around 10 or 9 years old.
You don't remember, man. Stop.
I mean, yo, BGS, I remember.
Hey,
it was like crack. It was the vials everywhere.
Jones. I was in the motherfucking street in my 20s with these motherfuckers, right? I was in the crack houses, dude.
But what I'm saying is, like, me being a Gen Xer, like, I was a kid when it hit. Like, we wasn't smoking it. Like, we was kids. Like, we was children. People my age was selling it. We was definitely selling it. And we was acting.
I can show you so many documentaries of white kids selling crack to their parents.
You had 13-year-olds, man, out there doing crack and shit like that. You had a lot of teenagers out there doing that shit.
Hold on. Let me rewind for you. When did Gen X start?
65, right?
65 to 85 is how many years?
You said 65 to what?
85.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, they weren't kids. Okay,
they were not.
I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me and my.
I'm gonna back you up for a second.
It's always about me.
Stop talking to me like I'm talking to a woman. You're a dude. Stop looking internally and look altruistically. Okay. Generation that did a lot of the fucking crack smoking were older gen.
Yeah, they were.
If you talk about angel dust, then you have a different conversation.
I'm looking at it like who had the houses.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Because a lot of the fucking parents who were high and had their children taken from them, that's who the majority of them were. Older Gen Xers. Guess who raised a lot of the children?
How long did crack era last, sir?
Crack ended like around in Philly, where I'm from, New York, East Coast. It died like around 03, 04.
Yeah, that's rather late, isn't it, sir?
That's real late, bro.
But I'm talking about people that like 4 or 5 years older than me, 5 years younger than me. They wasn't smoking crack.
Okay. I'm gonna take this story, right? I had an ex-girlfriend whose mom died from AIDS, hooked on crack. I had 2 best friends whose parents were hooked on crack. They were born in the 60s.
Wow.
You wasn't in them streets, man.
Oh, I definitely was in the streets. I'm from North
Philly.
I'm from North Philly, BGS. Like I seen it.
Hey, Jones, how big is Philly, population wise?
About 2 million.
You know how many people in LA, man?
About 4 or 5.
10.
Well, yeah, that's the metro area. Yeah, the metro.
No. I'm talking about the city. That's the city. 10.
The metro is pretty big. But I know crack started out there. I know it's
Jones, listen to me, okay? I'm gonna tell you a story, okay? Because you're probably too young to even remember shit like this, right? 1981. I had a whole bunch of co-workers used to buy 8-ball, okay? Used to get off work. My buddy learned from his brother, who was a chemist, how to rock stuff up. That's before they started selling in houses. That's how far back I go. I played basketball with Pablo Escobar's nephew. Okay, I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not denying nothing you saying because you are elder. What year was you born, BGS?
I was 59.
59. So yeah, you definitely you saw a lot. I remember you and Charles was coming at us before about us. Our generation, I'm gonna say my generation, like
my brother and sister are Gen Xers, older Gen Xers, okay?
Yup, but we wasn't smoking crack.
Bullshit.
Yo, I'm telling you, man, we was a little kid. Let me ask you this, BGS. You was in LA,
when were you born?
77.
In other words, that's late, man.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still a Gen X. I'm like the last 2 years.
What about the Gen Xers who are actually 12 years older than you?
I mean,
what about them?
They pretty much boomers, like for real.
No.
Come on.
They pretty much boomers.
See what I mean?
There's no. Hold on, BJ. Hold on, BJ. I got you. Hold on, I got you. 12. Hold on. Those 12 years he's talking about, and so there's no and so. Those I'm a Gen Xer, born in '73. Hey, what BGS is telling you is Lord. They were smoking, they was using, they was dealing. It was all the above. Hey, BGS, tell them about the strawberries and how they came about. Then he might understand.
Yeah, man. There's strawberries out there, man. As young as, and this is like an 80. See when I get my van. This was in the 90s.
Yeah, BGS, take over from me for a little bit.
Okay, this is freaking in the 90s. As young as 13. Okay.
Most of the fiends I seen coming up was like people that was like, they had jobs, they had the houses. Because I remember being a kid, like, and my peers selling crack, they had to go to a house.
Bro, those were called the functional crackheads. Okay,
there was a lot of them. Yes, it was a lot of functional.
So you think them cats out there selling and not using?
I'm gonna tell you right.
No. Hold on a second. You think them cats are out there selling, not using?
Some, not all though. Some were. Yeah.
You think they would? You think they weren't selling to their peers?
Like I said, I'm from North Philly, so
no.
I saw a lot. I saw a lot of it.
You think they weren't selling to their peers?
Some people was smoking it, like he said. It was functional users. It definitely was functional users, but the majority of crack smokers wasn't our age.
Listen to my question, okay? Listen to my freaking question. You think they weren't selling to their peers?
Some of them were, yes.
They all were, okay? Those are the first people they sold to.
That was a party drug. That was cheaper than coke.
You know why?
A lot of cat, like when crack was popping, a lot of people my age wasn't smoking it. They was selling it. It wasn't like
they were doing both. They were doing both, man. What are you talking about?
Time out. What did you say, Art? Art, what did you say? Okay.
What you talking about, little kids? What qualifies as a little kid to you?
Like in '85?
What age qualifies you as a little kid?
In '85, no.
Listen to my question. What qualifies as a little kid? How old?
Somebody under 12, under 10.
12. So another under 10, right? So in 1985, okay, a lot of those extras were 20, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, right? Okay, how many people are actually older than 10?
I mean, you got that would be the lower rank. That would be the younger rank. So yeah, that would be half, like the other half of the generation.
And in other words, you know when Generation X actually ended in 1981.
80, yeah, like 80, 81, yeah.
In other words, you're the last cohort of the Generation X. Most of the Generation X was actually born before you. Those folks were actually teenagers and grown.
Dude, I'll say this right quick. You were born in what year?
77.
You're close to being born in the rest of
your phone breaking up, Charles.
You're closer to me being born in 82 than the rest of the generation.
Yeah, I got you by like 5. You was born in 82, so I got you by like 5 years.
Let me ask you this, Jones. How the hell are you gonna, at a 10-year-old, gonna have way more access to the streets than a fucking adult?
What you mean? I don't understand.
In other words,
what do you mean? What you mean?
I mean, at 85, I was 26 years old. How you gonna be out in the street more than me?
I'm not saying that I was. I'm just saying that the kids in my generation wasn't smoking crack.
Yes, they were. No kids were smoking crack, but thing is, all the people in your generation in '85 weren't kids.
The teenagers.
No, they wasn't. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. That's not a disagreement point.
That's not very many 10-year-olds actually gonna smoke crack, are they?
Well, I'm just coming from my experience. Your experience in Los Angeles was a little different. Maybe
I was older than you.
I'm just yeah, I agree. We at a point where we are agreeing right now.
So in other words, stop with the bullshit.
I'm just letting you know, man. It was a lot of kids from Generation X kids that wasn't smoking the kids.
Hey, AB, can you share this video?
I'm just gonna say.
He's away from the computer right now. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
I'm here.
Right?
It's the
stop with the bullshit,
it's the fact
sir.
of the matter, right?
I saw this stuff coming from the ground up. Stop with the bullshit.
One of my best friends is the youngest of his family. All his brothers and sisters are older than that. His brother, old years, and it's funny because when they try to hide it, a lot of your kids end up being midway millennials. So if you think about it, you had a rush of a lot of millennial children raised by boomer grandparents.
Yep.
Why? Because of the crack epidemic. A lot of them were getting high. A lot of them were getting jailed. This is when you guess who were the motherfuckers who were hit the most from the 96 crime bill?
Gen X.
Gen Xers.
All day, Gen X.
So when I hear a lot of this shit about the boomers, I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody can have their reasons to shit on the boomers, but a lot of motherfuckers were raised by boomer grandparents.
Especially if you're Gen X, yeah.
And then here's the fun about this, right? Did boomers come up with Freaknik?
Oh, we did not.
Oh Lord! Congratulations to us.
Well, when did Freaknik start? When did
93?
Nah, it was before 93.
Were the boomers?
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna look now.
Hold on.
Wait, keep talking, Charles.
Go ahead, Charles.
I gotta say this. Were the boomers the ones who populated single motherism?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Yes, because Gen X, because most of Gen X came from single parents.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
No. Yes, they did. In the 70s.
No, they didn't.
I think it got a foothold in the boomer generation, but then it started kicking off.
Most Gen Xers parents are boomers.
Can I finish my turn?
No, they're not.
And silent generations. I mean, some silent. Yeah,
most Gen Xers have silent generation parents.
Can I finish my term? Number two. Here's actually on number 3 or 4. Majority of the fucking boomer generation at the height, 90% married, at the lowest 80.
Yep.
Then on top of that, majority of the people who were locked up during the 96 crime bill were Xers. Majority of the women who got the government jobs and the bullshit education were Xers.
All right, I just looked up Freaknik. It started in 82 at Spelman.
What was the height of Freaknik?
I don't know, man. It said it started in 82.
The height of it was the early.
I didn't hear about it till the 90s.
It didn't get the same fucking traction until the 90s.
Freaknik was conceived March 82 on Spelman College and DC Metro Club, meeting
what?
headed by Shula Goodson.
But when's the height of it?
I don't know. Y'all tell me. When was the height of Freaknik? I never was there.
Mid-90s.
90s, man.
Yes.
Freak until the day, until the dawn.
Shut it down. 85. Shut it down.
Hey, Jones. Guess who's in college in 82?
82. You 18 and 82
Yeah.
was 18
Gen
years
X.
ago from that.
Gen X.
Gen X.
Yep.
All right, let me show this video.
BTS
y'all hear it?
S Pearl.
No, we have S code called Jerry Curl back when I
At the Sprints.
dumbass.
And BTS tell him Eric Dickinson had the best Jerry curl of them all.
His mother worked a lot. He was left.
I made a lot of money in drugs. That went. I didn't want anything anyway. I didn't buy a car because I wasn't old enough to drive. I bought shoes and stuff. You don't know how it is with me. I've been in rehab a long time now.
Is that NYC? Yeah, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn. You. Look at the Walkmans back then.
Tell me, what kind of baby was he? A crier. He was a crier. Cute. Always adorable. As a matter of fact, he was my prettiest baby. And not
does that look like a baby boomer to you?
Everybody said that, when he was born.
No, that's a Gen Xer.
Should have been a girl,
Listen, he definitely not a baby boomer, but the majority of people that were smoking crack back then was boomers.
Bullshit.
It wasn't the kids.
Dude,
no.
Forget it, man. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, can we move on, please? I'm tired of this topic.
Because he's not getting it.
They ain't getting it.
The guy next to him, does he look like a baby boomer?
You said who?
The guy next to him,
The
does
guy
he look like a
next-
baby boomer?
He could
Hell
be a
nah.
little older. I don't know what year is this.
But
1985.
yeah,
85?
by that time, most of your boomers are 35 and up, so
To not cut his throat.
they're not young.
That was in their 30s.
Don't move in on my spots.
So,
Like, if he's selling on 49th Street, I can't sell it. I'd have to find my own spots. which I
My
did.
dad was in his 30s in 1986.
no, that's wrong, man. If you 85, a boomer wouldn't be in their 30s, like a late boomer.
My dad was
Okay,
in
this topic is
1986.
over.
In 1990, 1980, 1990, right then, yeah.
Like
My
25.
dad was in his 40s
My
and
dad-
90s, man.
1990, do your math, man.
I'm just saying, man. Like the younger ones, the younger ones.
You got to start listening instead of talking, man. Listen to what we're saying.
My dad was in his 30s in the 80s, man.
Same.
I'm gonna throw this
Same,
out
man.
to you. A lot of people, a lot of the boomers during that time period, at least the older ones, weren't on the drugs. They could have actually been some of the ones selling the drugs. But then the ones that were Xers, a lot of you guys, you were the ones who were actually using it and turning, like, for the females. A lot of them were turning into prostitutes.
Prostitutes, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. In fact, Jones, when were the boomers? What age range were the boomers born?
That was after the war, so like 46.
46, right? So
64, yeah.
So
Well, in 64, somebody in 85 was like 20, like they was 19.
They're
Like
they're-
the late
they're-
85?
they're 85.
No, 30.
85. Like, so somebody born in 64 and 85 is like,
They're 20. They're
like
21.
21. Yeah, they
They're
like 20 years
21.
old.
Yeah, but everybody after that is what?
Like
Gen X.
teenagers.
The
Yeah, they're
teenagers,
teenagers. Yeah, they
Yeah.
will be teenagers.
And
But
how-
I'm just saying,
and
from my experience, all I'm
and
saying
how-
from my experience, like the
how
teenagers
long?
mostly
How
wasn't smoking
long
crack.
did the crack era last, sir?
About 20 years.
So he had a whole lot of extras doing a whole lot of dope, didn't you?
I think personally, what I saw was it was like I think somebody else said it. I don't remember who it was, and I know AB said he don't want to talk about this no more. But for the most part, it was a lot of functional smokers, like people with jobs, like bus drivers.
So extras didn't have jobs.
No, we was just too young. We was young. We was the young kids.
So in other words, by 1990, you're still too young.
Me personally, yeah, I was in junior high school in 1990.
How about other people? Hold on. How about people born in 65?
I mean, yeah, they was like college age or older. They was older, yeah.
They were older.
If they were they were born in the 70s, they would have been college age by the mid 90s.
Yeah, most college age people wasn't smoking. I mean, I saw it. Like, I'm not talking about something I read. Like, most of the crack kids I seen coming up, they was like in their 30s, 40s. They had houses. They was losing their houses. See, I know in like Baltimore, where Charles is from, and where like in Philly, where I'm from, New York, Harlem. Like, so you had a lot of them houses becoming abandoned,
Don't
becoming
forget
crack
Jersey.
houses. Jersey too. Camden was destroyed by crack. And
How about the motherfuckers in the street? You think they had houses too?
But hold on, let me make my point. Like, so those places, like all those lots that you see in these towns, like Detroit and shit, that was because them people was smoking crack. They was losing their houses. People my age didn't have houses. Like,
So you had to have a house to smoke crack.
Not at all. But a lot of people that own the
Do you have
home,
a house? Do you have a house to smoke that to smoke crack?
a lot of those homes wasn't owned by Gen
so
Xers.
do you have to own a house to smoke crack?
Not at all. No.
So you had to be rich to smoke crack.
You had to have $5. All you had to have was $5.
Do you have to have a job to smoke crack?
All you had to have was $5.
You have to have a job to smoke crack.
Not at all.
So all that stuff that you talk about is irrelevant, sir. I saw that shit for myself. I saw kids as young as 12 smoking crack, sir.
I mean, listen, they probably was. I'm not just.
I saw a lot of them smoking crack at 12 years old, just like the kid you saw. A lot of those, a lot of high schools dropped out of high school because they smoked crack, cracked out, and so they had to go on the corner, give them blowjobs to get their fix.
That was happening. I'm not denying none of that, but the majority of those people was adults.
Okay,
like,
so
the majority
older adults. Older adults.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't.
All right. I mean, you got your experience. I got mine.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
got
one thing to say to you, man. Bullshit. Okay.
Yes, sir.
A lot of the older folks that were wound up dying off in the 2000s to 2010s even were like teens in the 90s who got caught on that late wave when it was spreading from west to east. Like a lot of this stuff happens, but they want to confine it into like one narrow window of pop culture, kind of like they want to say that it started with Colors and ended with Boys in the Hood, like 86 to 8 to 93. But no, it kept spreading and spreading and spreading out and out and out. Yeah, it took waves of people out.
In 81, they were just learning about it. 83, they started to hit the street. 80, it didn't even really start to 85, the crack era. That's when it really started.
Yeah, and that's what that whole Hezekiah Walker News thing was talking about. It's like 85. That's when it really
started. It would kicked in, yeah. And went nationwide because what happened is that, and I can tell you why it happened, is because in LA and in California, you had Crips and Bloods, and they wanted to get the young kids away from the gang violence, so they sent them all the way across the country back home. So guess what they did? They took their business with them. That's like you have a lot of Crips and Bloods and stuff like all over the country because they took what their business that they did in LA to get away from the violence, and they spread this shit all the way across the country.
Yeah, Gary, Fort, what's that place in Little Rock? Yeah. All that stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember
Florida.
Yeah, I remember 86 when I went back home for my family reunion in Shreveport. Man, they started locking the doors. I said, why? I said, because these gangbangers are on some shit. I said, what do gangbangers do in Shreveport? I said, they sent them home to get them away from gang violence. They just started a new clique where they were.
Yep. And a lot of the stuff is written out in the books from journalistic sources. Like, what's that? The guy who was in that movie, Kill the Messenger. I never remember his name. Yeah. But he wrote that book. I think it might be called Kill the Messenger too. But like
Gary Webb.
Great.
Gary Webb.
Gary Webb. Yeah.
Gary Webb book.
Gary Webb. Yeah.
Yeah. Shot himself in the head twice.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then the I mean, like it's been in film, television, right? Like it is all out there.
Remember, it's in the music, man. Remember
Ice Cube.
Remember MWA called Dope Man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think they were talking about older folks?
And then the white boy, the cop, who caught the CI guys and said, like, this is what you guys did.
Oh yeah.
Peak oil guy, Rupert.
Michael
Rupert.
Yeah.
He pointed out all that stuff when he was there in the LAPD. Like a lot of that stuff was.
They discovered Michael. I was at the meeting when Michael Rupert first stood up, man, at the high school when John Deutsch was there to actually give a accounting
of the CIA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when he snitched on the CIA. You talk about that reporter who ended up dead.
Yeah, Gary Webb.
Gary Webb. Yep.
Yeah, Gary Webb. Yeah.
That's back when you had a lot more criticism that goes on, and a lot of people try to separate these things out as like individual events that happen in the history, and they don't see that a lot of this stuff overlaps a lot of other things that happen.
What you gangster rap? It started when Ice-T in 1986, man, was all about that wave. The Gen X that's actually selling that shit on the street.
Yes, Ice-T is probably older than you, right?
No, I think he's younger.
No,
He's close.
younger.
He's about
he was
5
born in
years
He was
younger.
born in
58.
early
he's 58.
He was
Okay,
in
we
58 or 56.
I don't
never
know.
knew.
Yeah.
I didn't
think
know a
he-
light skinned
he was
man
born-
could stay that young looking.
And he was born in Jersey.
Wow.
And he was born in Jersey. He
That
was from Jersey too.
haterade.
58 in Newark, New Jersey. 58.
Yeah, we're right.
1958.
So
Brick
we're right about the same age. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And
I mean, I'll give you a
Eazy-E
good
was a
example. There's a
boomer,
movie that's
too.
going to come out. There's a movie that's going to come out.
Really? 1958, he's a boomer.
No, I said
Wow.
Eazy-E. I said Eazy-E was a boomer.
No, he's
Eazy-E.
not.
Yeah.
No, he's
that
not.
makes
Yes, he
sense.
was. He was born in 64.
Yeah, Ice T's 58. Okay.
Eazy-E was born in 64. He was a boomer, too.
Check it. In about a couple months, you're going to start seeing the press for a movie called Flowers of the Killer Moon with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? And it's said about all the stuff where the Sooners in Oklahoma stole all the land from the Native Americans. They were blowing them up and killed.
Yeah.
Like they were fucking them up. At the same time, Black Wall Street was being destroyed. One county over in Tulsa. Like a lot of stuff happens in American history, but it all happens at around the same time, but they kind of break it off and segment it. So a lot of the stuff happens, but people don't know the history, so they don't see how it ties together.
I'm gonna say,
I'm
gonna say this.
Okay,
right.
go ahead, Charles.
A lot of people forget history, and I was born in '82. And even by the time I went to kindergarten, but I was always taught to be a very observant kid early on.
Yep.
Look, every generation has its ups and its downs. Look, Gen X were the queens of teenage pregnancy. You wonder why it went down with the millennials? Because we saw how it was not fun being a teenager and you got to take your baby to the prom. It was not easy. And a lot of motherfuckers want to talk about, well, the boomers. The boomers did something that a lot of generations won't do now. Take jobs to take care of your ungrateful asses.
So I'm gonna throw this out here, man.
And I'm not saying it's perfect. My generation, what's the greatest thing we did? We fought terrorism for 20 years. The most fucked up thing we did, raise soft ass children.
So I'm gonna throw this out here. I hate everyone, so I'm gonna throw a grenade in this.
Nigga, we know you. First of all, PK, we know you're a misanthrope. All right.
Good. I'm glad you know. So fuck you and fuck everybody. So here's the thing.
Hey, fuck you. Well,
there's
fuck you too, motherfucker.
There's an intersection of people who were doing and selling that shit, and they fall within a certain age range. It wasn't either group in particular. It was actually both.
Yeah,
actually both. So you just gotta leave it there and say that people of a certain age range during that time period were doing this shit. You can't blame it on either particular group. Just say it was both, because that's the truth. You know, it wasn't the older boomers. It was the younger boomers.
These younger boomers, yeah.
And it was your
teenage, all
really
the Gen Xers,
yeah,
all the Gen Xers,
yeah,
all the Gen Xers. Okay, all of them.
Let's not forget Gen Xers.
Go ahead.
Let's not forget Gen X. One thing I have to remember about that generation, that was the first generation that was hit with most of them were born to two-parent households, but a lot of them did not end up growing up in two-parent households. Because, like, remember, and a lot of it starting from 1969, 1970, certain states that
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most of the people I grew up with.
Hold on, man.
And we were coming home by ourselves with a latchkey.
Latchkey kids.
Yeah, y'all were the first latchkey kids. Y'all were the first latchkey kids, and y'all were also
really. That's when the name was coined.
Okay.
Here's what fucked up my generation.
Name was coined.
Y'all were the first ones,
because that's when the name was coined.
That's how we define it. That's what we're gonna say. Y'all were the first ones.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
And then a lot of y'all ended up going with y'all grandparents. Y'all weren't raised by y'all parents. A lot of y'all were oops babies.
Oops baby been around a long time, man. Ask Tina Turner.
Oops. As old as time.
Yeah, I would definitely say most of the people I grew up with, it was just one parent in the house, and most of our parents, my mom and dad are a silent generation because they was born during the war.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I'm just saying most of my friends, their parents was split up. So, like, it was basically just single parent homes in my neighborhood.
I can say this about
your parents weren't boomers, huh?
No, they was silent. They was born during the war. They was born during the war.
Yeah, most of Gen X have parents that are actually silent generation.
Well, hold up, my mom and dad personally was they was old when I was born. So most of I had a lot of friends who mom and dad were teenagers. They was I was a mistake. I'm not at all. They was married, like so.
No, well, you were a mistake because they had enough kids, and you would
I actually think I was planned, but I mean I can't ask.
And you were a late Gen Xer.
Yeah, definitely.
And so most of the Gen Xers, because I'm a boomer. My younger brother and sisters are Xers. They're Xers. That's why I know.
I mean, my mom's a little bit older than BGS, and nearly all of her siblings are Gen X. Most of her siblings are Gen Xers. Most of her cousins are Gen Xers. My dad, all of his siblings are boomers. Well, most of them. A couple of them are like, a couple of them were Gen Xers. One is a millennial.
Yeah, that's why they call that's what we call Gen X the crossover gen. That's what it's X. It's crossover generation.
Yeah, crossover. And us millennials, we were just right there at the cusp of the turn of the millennium. It was what the fuck it was. And
yeah, I mean, we grew up in like a fundamentally different generation from like Gen X to Gen X is kind of like that hybrid, and then a lot of them didn't get like the full pressure of what it went on before. Because like, I think my dad is 3 years older than BGS, and he was like the first class to integrate in the South in this city. And he was like, they only integrated him because he had brothers who are older, so they could, if shit went down, you had somebody who could back you up. It's a different dynamic.
Yeah,
but like Gen X and down, it becomes
and
more
we were
and more
one of the first actually integrate in LA. In the 60s.
You said you were bust off to white schools, right?
Yeah.
Even when you look at them, right? The millennials were the first motherfuckers to really be integrated into the internet and technology. We went from literally at one
analog to digital.
Yeah.
So we went through a fucked up. How the fuck is it? You get a diploma, and the next thing you know, a year after you graduate, boom, the Twin Towers are down. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? Now you have a war that is longer than Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, yo, well, the millennials, they were fucked. I said you can really look at it this way. You look at older millennials and you look at younger millennials, it's like two different generations.
We just Zennials too. Because remember, late 70s, early 80s babies. We were that transition between the generations.
Yeah. And then
we got the worst.
You gotta remember,
y'all got
we never had safe spaces when we went to school.
Your safe space was the dodgeball
room.
That's true.
That was your safe space, whatever space you had between your fucking ears. And on top of that, you get 20-year-olds now who don't even. It's funny to actually coach kids who weren't even born during 9/11. It was funny going to a class when I was in Colorado, and you got 25 and 23 and 21-year-olds who have no memory of 9/11.
I don't blame those kids.
And it was just funny because they'd be like, "You do know I was," and they were like, "Well, what you know, Falk?" I said, "You do know I joined the Army before that." And they were like, "Oh, we forget that you're older than us." I said, "Yeah, black don't crack, but we still know how to attack." So when you look at the generation, are we building stronger men or weaker men?
That's the question.
Unfortunately, the latter.
And that's the ultimate goal. Is like, look, Do you have men who are going to keep up this society? Right now, men are like, look, we're not our grandfathers, we're not our fathers. We're not going to be stepdads anymore because it's not a fair deal. If you got a woman back then, i.e., art is the product of a guy who married a woman who had kids prior. He was a wife and she gave him an extra kid and gave him 2 kids. You're not getting that these years. These bitches will have kids by by unemployed niggas, and will tell you a way better nigga. I ain't having no more kids, bitch. I don't need. And you wonder why niggas be like, well, I don't want a baby mama. Well, my kids are a package deal. No, bitch. A package deal is 2 games and a PlayStation 5 with 2 controllers.
Yeah.
It's a negotiation, and the bad thing about it is that when these women right now, they think that you should negotiate at a fucking lower level than what you really are. Nah, fuck that.
Yeah, real quick. There's 80 plus watching, and I only got 37 likes. Y'all get my likes up.
Look.
Get the likes up, people. Get the likes up. You ain't hit the like button. Hit the like button, man.
Look. If I wasn't chilling with my friends, and then if I didn't know if AB was starting, look. Number 1, get the likes up. Number 2, get the money up.
Yeah.
You're getting some historical information that a lot of people are afraid to talk about.
You said 80 people watching? AB? Yeah. How many likes you got?
37.
He needs to get 75 likes so I can challenge Charles and Madden and beat his ass.
Number 1. Let's talk about. Let's go back to historical facts. That's never happened because I've been dog walking art since God had.
It happened on your channel last time, motherfucker. Fuck you.
And I fucked you up, motherfucker. That's what happened last time. I put my foot so deep in your ass, the water on my knee quenched your thirst, nigga. So
why you always talking about trying to put deep in my ass?
Everybody else
Here we go.
I mean, shit is so deep I can park my truck back there.
BGS, all I can say right now in this situation, damn, and you got to blame Obama for this, but damn, they should get married. The way they're nagging and shit. But they've been together get a room. Y'all get a room. Y'all need to get a room, goddamn. But I will say this. One thing I think we got to mention here that's really important about Gen Xers and millennials and boomers. Sorry, Charles. I had to say it, but when we think about a certain red ribbon, if y'all catch my drift.
Speaking of red.
No, red ribbon.
Yeah. Ryan White.
Red Hulk gallery.
You talking about the virus, right?
I'm talking about the virus. Let's not forget how many Gen Xers as well as boomers were hit by that. But let's not forget also, among us millennials, we're the first generation of children who were born HIV positive and shit. You know what I'm saying? And how many of us are still alive?
A middle school kid, Ryan something.
Ryan White is Ryan White as well as this a trio of brothers.
Arthur Ashe at the same time.
Yeah, but they were Gen X. No, here's the thing about. Wait, hold up. Calm down. You're overwhelming me. I'm sorry. You guys are overwhelming me. Ryan White, first of all, was a Gen Xer. His thing was he had hemophilia, and he contracted the virus from a contaminated donor.
Yeah.
He was not a millennial. He was
So
not a millennial.
Arthur Ashe too.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a secondary. That was the second heart surgery. The first heart surgery, there was some complications. So in '83, he had to get He had to undergo the knife again, but blood transfusion was required, and apparently contracted it that way. But he didn't come out about it until '88, and apparently, supposedly, it was because USA Today was about to put an article about that, and he decided, hold a press conference, and he died at 92, 93.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But among us, it's like
if you go down to Richmond, Virginia, there's a statue on Monument Avenue. It's like 3 Confederate generals, and then there's a statue of Arthur Ashe, and it looks like he's beating children with a tennis racket.
What?
It's great. You should pull it up, Art. AB, you should pull it up. It's the worst looking statue, but it's he's a Richmond-born man. Him and Russell Wilson. light skinned, rich and pretty boys.
Arthur believes in corporal punishment. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it, and it looks like these young kids reaching up for him, and it looks like he's trying to downswing a tennis racket on these kids.
Get these motherfuckers. These ain't my kids. Get these motherfuckers.
Fuck them kids. Huh?
Fuck them kids.
Yeah. Fuck them kids.
Arthur asked.
That's my slogan.
And by the way, Art, here you go, Art. Here you go.
Yeah, I got that one from my brother. I got that video from my brother. I got the Wonder Woman.
Oh.
I don't have that Wolverine. I'm looking for a good Wolverine though.
I like that one. That was the Weapon X.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this about regarding the virus and everything. This generation, especially the Gen Z and everything, they don't understand the struggle that a lot of us older millennials, the Gen Xers, and the boomers had to deal with, especially when Magic started talking about, when Magic came out in November '91. You don't believe it's like 30 years since he's been living with over 30 years of that shit? 30 plus years?
That nigga found the super soldier serum, that's all.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
He got all the deep
he bought it.
Antiretrovirals and stuff like that.
ARVs, antiretrovirals. But the thing was, like, if you remember,
he was playing like Spartan rules back then.
Yeah. If you remember, what was it like for people in the late 80s, early 90s when they had access to like antivirals and whatnot? They had to take a combination of certain types of, a huge cocktail.
They called it a cocktail.
A huge
big
cocktail.
Thing
we were talking about.
Big thing.
Is it a cocktail
they found?
that got them in their situation in the first place? Shit.
Well, kind of. But one of the things they found was that one of the things they found was that the cocktail worked only if you had enough tissue to absorb a lot of the negative effects of it. So you saw a lot of people in that community who started getting the weightlifting and bodybuilding. And so you started to see a lot more men in that community who were like started getting really jacked. And they started getting on steroids and stuff. And so they could take all of the ARVs and the other stuff that would go with it. And so they could last. But a lot of those people who were just like skinny, what do they call them?
Emaciated.
Yeah, not emaciated. No, there's like a Twinkies, right? The boys who would be like Twinkies. They would just fold from all those cocktail ARVs and stuff.
Twinks.
Yeah, that's what because their body just couldn't take all the
like Destiny Twink.
Yep.
He's a twink.
Yeah.
The thing was, like, I remember and I remember this when I was like 9-10 years old. I remember watching this on CNN, but also reading about it. No, not reading about it, but listening on the radio. There was one man who was HIV positive, and he was trying to get like a bone marrow transplant from a baboon. Because apparently, baboons and chimps had an immunity from it. And unfortunately, it didn't work for him. And unfortunately, animal rights activists were up in arms about it because they had to kill the animal in the process. But I also remember, and this is something I remember Stephen Fry, who did in 2006, did a documentary talking about the 25th anniversary of HIV/AIDS. He talked to a man who was HIV positive, and he told him, like, dude, a lot of the young Gen Zs, I think, a lot of the Gen Zs who think it's okay to catch, who are not afraid of catching this shit, understand, the ARVs, the arms race between, the pharmaceutical researchers and the virus is ongoing. Just because you take on ARVs doesn't help, because some of us who've been on ARVs for a while, the virus eventually learns to develop a resistance to that shit. Yeah. So we got to find alternatives and everything. Yeah, they evolved.
There's a lot of information that suggests that that virus has existed a lot longer in the human population, but just died off a lot earlier, and especially in the Congo, because it would just like try to escape from the simian into the human, and then it just made a jump. And there's a lot that suggests that there's.
Was it a natural jump? That's the question.
Yeah, European actors who might have crafted something with a polio virus. That's a longer conversation.
I've read about it's a group of women in South Africa that are immune to it. Like
it was in Kenya. was in Kenya. They developed.
It was in some country in southern.
It wasn't. Yeah, what happened was
it was like SW workers in like southern Kenya or something like that.
Irish. They were exposed to it. They were exposed to it at a certain amount, right? And the researchers started, studying them, hoping to develop a vaccine, but it didn't really turn out as well. On top of that, in Europe, as it was in Thailand, there were separate teams trying to develop a vaccine for that shit in the early 90s. But sorry, Arch.
The only thing that I found as far as people who are immune to it that I've read was there's a guy that had a bone marrow transplant. Yeah. And he had AIDS. And then when he got the bone marrow transplant, he was free of AIDS. And what they found was that people who survived the Black Plague, their ancestors, are immune to AIDS.
Yeah, it's like a very
and they said that as far as right now, the only way that you can actually be free of it if you get a bone marrow transplant from somebody who survived the Black Plague, their ancestors.
That's what that white girl said after she had the 5 guys in her room that were black.
Oh boy!
So as far as that, that's about the closest that I've seen somebody's like saying like, yeah, they were free from it because of surgery or whatever. At least from what I know.
I'm not trying to do this to bring this. I'm not saying that just to bring people down and shit, but that's something that really needs to be, mentioned when we talk about each generation's struggles and shit. Because this is something that's multi-generational, but has affected us in different ways. I mean, you still got millennials who still fuck around catching this shit, just like Gen Zs were catching this shit. And there's not a lot of adequate information because a lot of people think, oh, this, that, and the third. I'm like, no, there's more to it than that.
Because you're not dying from it anymore.
Yeah, that's what disease. Yeah, disease exactly. Disease don't see it.
Yeah, they don't Art, see it. You're forgetting. I'm not of you. Where I come from is still a death sentence because ARVs are not available for all of us. And I've seen people slowly die from that shit well into the 2000s.
Yeah, but
there's a documentary
you can go around.
Fire in the Blood, which talks about. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, walk around Atlanta, you'll see a bunch of women slowly dying of diabetes. They just don't know they got it yet.
Yep.
Oh, or in denial of it.
Don't you talk about Lizzo like that? Art's gonna get that.
There you go.
I mean, for art of immoral eyes only. What do you think?
And man, I'm not even joking, man. You could go to like certain parts of like Baltimore, Philly, DC, New York. You see like old black people with like half a leg cut off and shit. And they're like, they didn't get run over by a bus. That shit was diabetes. They ate too much McDonald's or Dairy Queen or something.
It's funny, right? We learn about gun control, but cars kill more people. Diabetes kill more people.
Type 2.
Like, I'm just wondering, right? Like when people get upset about shit and they look at diseases and all this other shit, more people die of smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol than guns. No, we got to get rid of guns. Motherfucker, you got 1 million people who just died of fucking preventable diseases. What you need to do is reinstill fucking adult gym time or some shit. Like, yeah, we got.
It's not sensational enough. That's why I chose.
It requires work. You gotta work.
You got more guns than people. How are you gonna get rid of guns?
Yeah,
that's the question.
That's why I always laugh because I'm like, look, when you hear about these senators who never, this AR-15 is as heavy as 10 boxes.
What?
Yeah, it was a black congresswoman who said that shit. I forget her name. It's as heavy as 10. Like, bitch, stop lying. Like, come on now. Like,
he's talking to little old ladies in Iowa that don't know the difference.
Let's see.
Shirley Chisholm?
The difference is that the little old ladies in Iowa have AR-15.
That's true. You're probably right.
And it's crazy.
And those little old ladies been held and going since they were little girls.
I'm like,
taught by the daddy.
Have you even read ballistic testing? Like, Well, in AR-15, if that bullet will go through one house to another,
No.
I said a 9mm will, a double-aught buck or a slug from a shotgun will. That's 5.56 to 223. No, it'll dissipate when it hits sheetrock.
Yeah.
It's called the tumbler for a reason. It was made to actually hit and incapacitate and ricochet through your bones. So when you actually talk to people who are educated, that's why you'll never see a guy like me on any news post talking about this shit, because I'm gonna be number one, I think because I would cuss.
And you a straight shooter.
And number two, I'll be like, okay, well, what about all these active shooters? I've never seen too many active shooters act a fool when motherfuckers can shoot back.
It was the thing. Most of these cats, man, most of the active shooters, especially if they're young, they're on some kind of ADHD drugs.
Yeah, they're on drugs.
Yeah. They're on drugs, and
in other words, they're Ritalin kids, huh?
They're Ritalin kids. Yeah,
Ritalin babies.
Ritalin, all these other like Prozac, like all these SH. What do you call it? The
SSRIs.
Yeah, SSRIs, mood regulators.
Ritalin is the same molecule as speed.
It is.
And I'm gonna say, if you start talking, if you have like white friends and they're over the age of, let's say, 20, and you start you get close to it, and they start just chit chatting you, a little drunk, they start telling you about all the pills they're taking. Bro, that shit is crazy. They're just like, I take Lexapro for this, and I take Prozac. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then they're like, I can't get it up, or, I just don't get what.
Don't get me started. I've had my experience with SSRIs. SSRIs. I've also taken an antipsychotic one. I mean, BJS, I told you that
take a walk in the sun.
Yeah.
Do some push-ups, take a walk, get in the sun. That 70% of it will.
They should have never been. Really, what it is they're trying to control little boys to keep them from being active. So that's where they put them on it. Because they tried to put my son on it when he hit first grade.
That part, BJS, that's what they don't want to talk about. And most of these women condone it, because they set up the system and bring us your children, we'll subsidize.
Because my ex was gonna put my son on that shit, man. And I said, well, he won't sit down. I said, I didn't call her that, but I said, don't you dare put my son on that bullshit, okay? Let me go talk to the fucking teacher. So I talked to the little white teacher about that. I said, we'll take him out of the school before you put him on that shit, okay?
They love doing that shit, man. That shit pisses me the fuck off.
Because the kids are easy to control once they get on that stuff. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. My mother used to say that when I was a kid, like a baby, I would take every single pot and pan outside of the lower shelves and stuff and stack them up as high as I could, and then I would put them all back in there. And like somebody would have said, "Oh, that's weird. We got to put them on something." And she was like, "Look, stack them up as high as you can. Make sure they don't fall. If you can do that, I'll give you a treat." It's like productive versus like I got to stop that.
It's the fact that
can you run the mission, bro?
Am I the leader or you're the leader?
You've been the leader for the last 30 minutes, please.
Oh, my bad. I ain't know. Shit. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
It's when you were doing
something to say about
you were doing shit like that, putting pots up. That means you had a affinity for engineering.
This says I'm not the party leader.
What the fuck? All right, I'll exit out and rejoin.
It actually says you have a affinity for actually engineering and shit like that.
Yeah, I love Legos. I love all that stuff. Yeah. And my mother encouraged it instead of just like beat it out of me. I mean, it's like, and a lot of kids get that shit beat it out of them.
Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. Women cannot control little boys or men, period. And that's the whole thing. They want to control you. And it start with the Prussian school system. And who are most of the teachers? Women.
Women,
and who they dealing with? Boys. DGS has talked about this. And what's the quickest out for a white woman teacher, educator, when she, you don't want to mind? No, I'm tired of writing these referrals. Let me write up this little report so I can get you hooked up on this shit. And then that's how it starts. And then they call the mama, they call the mothers and say, your child is not doing this, X, Y, Z. We recommend you put them on this, go through this center or this MHMR or whatnot, and they'll get them prescribed for this and that and the third.
And they get the mother get a kickback.
Yes. Yeah. This shit has been going on for the longest, man. This is a whole racket system. And like Charles was saying, yes, it's speed in written. Man,
So
my grandfather had my grandmother who was going to University of Texas at the time, studying studying medicine to be a nurse. And he said, Bert, go grab your medical book. I want you to look up this, that, and the third. I want to know why this girl doesn't have this boy put on this shit. And then they looked it up, and he was like, these are the derivatives of the drugs that's in this shit. This is shit that we was trying to get these goddamn soldiers off of in Vietnam. She was like, hell no. He went and he literally jacked up this 5'3", 200-pound ass woman being his daughter. Said, what the fuck is wrong with you? Well, he don't want to do this. He said he's a boy. Boys are supposed to be rambunctious. They're supposed to be inquisitive. They're supposed to be wanting to get into stuff. That's how they figure stuff out. They're not supposed to be put in no docile state like a little girl. You just sit here and play with the tea sets and have on little white meat cuteness. No, boys are supposed to get dirty and be rough and tumble. And that's what they didn't want. These women don't want that. They want to control you to the day you die.
I'll tell
like
you,
kicking a soccer ball in my case, or
the big thing that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Jules, hold on. I gotta say this right now because I gotta mention something, folks. You gotta say when it comes to somebody.
Namer.
Yes.
Fellas, I'm gonna have to get some sleep because I got to do something in the morning.
All right.
Okay.
Close the thoughts.
Do y'all want me to do a second part to this or don't know? I'm off.
Okay, that would be
great.
I'm open. I don't mind.
It's on y'all. Y'all gotta send him like 10 cash outs, or else I'm gonna close it out.
Oh boy!
All right, close the thoughts, folks.
One thing I gotta say is,
women can definitely encourage men, and in certain cases can teach men, but they need to be taught by men.
They do.
Yeah.
Richard Reeves fails that.
Yeah, he's trying to please the feminists. That's why he doesn't say that.
Exactly. He's not trying to save the boys.
Nope. Well, he's trying to save the culture. That's what he's trying to say.
Yep. Where's Mr. Z when we need him?
I said this a while ago that Richard Reeves and his ilk of these people, they're not as invested in actually fixing the problem as they are in basically holding up what is.
Hey,
maintaining the status quo.
Yeah, BGS, what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on that video I sent you of FD?
I haven't even. Which one was it? What did he say?
He was talking with the other leftists. He was talking with Crystal Ball and what's that dude?
Oh, that he's home, man. He's home. That's I don't know why people are surprised.
Kyle?
I'm not surprised. No, I'm not surprised, but I thought it was interesting because they asked him about the black conservatives. Like, oh shit, I know where they're going with that.
Mm-hmm. He did a whole series on black conservatives.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did a whole series on them. He calls them bootstrappers. You know, he calls black conservatives bootstrap conservatives because most of them say the same thing about you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and can't depend on the government and you can't, you got to do it for yourself, all that kind of stuff. So you got a lot of bootstrap. You have a lot of bootstrap leftists too, right? Like the Black Brain Trust is supposed to be progressive leftists, but they're bootstrappers.
Mm-hmm. Not leftists.
Well, what they claim to be leftists, but they talk about they talk about a lot of bootstrap issues.
No, I would call these guys neoliberals. Honestly, a lot what we've actually encountered now at this point in time is essentially an infiltration of people who believe themselves to be leftists, but they're actually not.
Yeah, they're unfortunately PK is right. They're more like neoliberals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, those people would actually agree more with Destiny. It's actually weird that they ever found themselves over in this space in the first place if they believe the things that they do.
Okay. The reason that they're over here, and this is something that I could actually confirm with that's one thing about having PhDs in the space, right? You can actually tell what's going on in academia, right? Because who are their colleagues? The colleagues are other academics, right? The Black Manosphere especially is having a big, huge penetration into academia right now. And in fact, I think it was Dr. Johnson was on with Turing Walker last night, and a guy that came up who's actually a PhD student, right? Doing his talk about his dissertations, right? He actually talking about the work that Dr. Johnson is doing is actually inspiring him. So you have this huge penetration in academia by the Black Manosphere. So that's why the lefties are over here. They're a problem. You guys got to go over here and straighten these motherfuckers out. That's what FD's doing here.
All right. BGS.
Well, good luck with that.
Jules?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Excuse me, Jules. Interesting. You mentioned we were talking about what kind of pills some people, some kind of medication young men are on, and also you mentioned type 2 diabetes. So let me connect the dots here for you. One of the as someone who has experienced taking SSRIs in particular and antipsychotics.
Okay.
One of the side effects is like it messes with your metabolism. So a lot of people who are on SSRIs or antipsychotics and other medication, they can end up maintaining weight.
Yeah.
They're prone to obesity, and if they're if they're long-term users of these medications, they can end up developing weight-related complications like high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
And it's only nowadays, it's only in recent years that clinicians and psychologists have been like discussing that. But yes, BGS, as you were saying.
Yeah, because SSRIs does slow down your metabolism. It chills you out.
Yeah. I mean, it's been like 2 years since one of the final side effects since I got off it has ended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember,
not
I
even
told
just
you,
that.
I had
2 years.
I had
it takes a long time to get off that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and people who are
I was on
on
it
those
for 2 years on and off, but if for some reason
People
I
who
had
are
like
on
this
those-
weird twitch in my arm for like a few. I had this twitch in my arm for about almost a decade, for over a decade, and it only stopped twitching like around 2021, 2022.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's the last time.
Yeah.
Anyone who's on those,
one time.
Anyone who's on the antipsychotics, it's not like they're broken people, but it's like the chemicals are not reacting right in their head. And you can, like, I've had one of my good friends in college was he was on those, and then I was a good reinforcement for that, and he stopped taking them, and something terrible happened. He's been locked away forever. Like, this is almost 20 years. And so, like, these people can live very normal lives, but they have to have a very regimented schedule for these type of things. That's really it.
And you can tell the guys that trying to go off it too quickly, man. People trying to go off it too quickly, they actually have psychotic episodes. Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Remember, I had a girlfriend who was on that shit, man. Basically, she tried to get off of it, and she's running down the on the freeway naked. So.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa! We're talking schizoid or something like that.
Yeah, but in other words, the thing is depends because they're fucking with your brain
on it.
Yeah, they're fucking with your brain chemistry when you're on it. So if you try to come off of it, your brain chemistry goes out of whack, and you have episodes. You start seeing shit.
Yeah, you start
having like.
Have you ever tried to go off it? Have you ever tried to go off it like suddenly when you're on it?
I went off it on a couple of occasions because I didn't have access to it, but this was the SSRIs, and I would just end up having the same thing. I would experience the same shit that I would if I had like an anxiety attack.
Okay.
And I would just go lock myself in a room because I knew I was going to go through withdrawals, and it was just like I'm just like crying and just having anxieties and shit. And then within an hour, I'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
I got a question. I got a question. What were the instances of schizophrenia and these type of mental conditions before the advent of, let's say, Europeans and capitalism? Like, because I kind of believe that a lot of what we see with these people with these mental disorders is because we're not living like with nature, like we're not living in our natural state.
It's hard to tell because psychiatry was not a thing until the late 19th century.
Well, what do you think? What do you think like the Native Americans and like the people back in the motherland were doing with people?
Yeah, there's some evidence.
I mean, in other words, you're dealing with a small group of people. You're not dealing with a big urban area. You're dealing with a small group of people, and you're just strange. Okay, and they adapt to you.
It's not even just that. It's that some of these people were seen as being touched by another power, right?
Yeah.
So if you had like visions or heard voices, it was seen as something that could be extra normal, or paranormal, and so they would see you as being somewhat special. And there's reports that in America you're treated as being different and bad, whereas if you're in let's say continental Africa or Asia, it's seen as you're being spoken to from your ancestors.
And they also they also, when you have your voices got too bad, they try to drill holes in your head to let the voices.
Yeah. There's a lot of different stuff that
the skulls of
it's
Egyptians got this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there were like
it was there. So basically, they just dealt with it differently. Okay?
Final thoughts.
Anyway.
I just want to say y'all ain't shit.
Anyway,
God bless y'all.
we're into closing thoughts, not another round of discussion.
How many cash apps did you get?
Thank you, AB.
AB.
Thank you, AB.
There's a couple I haven't announced.
Go ahead and announce them.
Thank you, IB, for the $10 cash app, and thank you, F Holiday, for the $5 cash app. Thank you, John B, for the $2 cash app.
Okay, I want a $2 holler. I guess that's all it takes.
Yeah, $2.
In some cases, $2 is all you need.
All right, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and crash out because I probably got to do behind the wall on my Patreon tomorrow.
Oh, you doing behind the wall tomorrow?
Yeah. I'm overdue. They need to catch up on my lesson, on my whatchamacallit lessons too.
Not esoteric.
My astrology test. Yeah, astrology lesson. Yeah, I got some good stuff coming. I talk about the personality test that you actually they give you in work and in school and something. That's actually developed through astrology and Jung. So Jung actually first started putting that stuff together back in the 1920s.
I already know how I am.
So it's going to be interesting. Not that that's going to be 100% accurate, but the thing is that where some of this stuff actually comes from. So that's probably going to come up right after. I think my next lesson is going to be a continuation of the Saturn cycle. Then after that, we're going to get into the Jung and the different kind of temperaments, and where it comes from. Yeah, really interesting stuff.
So,
but anyway,
sleep well, sir.
Yeah,
have a pleasant rest.
All right.
Yeah,
peace out.
I don't know what's wrong with you and my Patreon, but they don't like each other.
Oh, okay. All right, just you don't have to worry about it, man. Just hit me up with an email, okay? Or
no, what it's saying is I still giving you money, but it's saying that I'm not giving you money. I'm like, what?
That I don't get.
Yeah.
So
I ain't never had that one. All types of blue hell.
So they're taking money from you, but they say you're not giving them money.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. Okay.
Highway robbery.
I just sent you some money this week.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'll see.
Or maybe the check it didn't get cleared.
I'll see.
Maybe it didn't get cleared.
I'll just email you the link, man.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Any other closing thoughts before I hit this outro?
I just want to say y'all ain't shit. I just want to say y'all ain't shit and good night. And God bless you too.
All right.
All right. Well, I'll say good afternoon. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You gonna say what, OG?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, first of all, good afternoon, y'all. But
go ahead.
But yeah, you guys just stay healthy, man, and don't take none of this stuff personal, man. This is just internet stuff. We just trying to talk and expand our horizons. That's all it is. I don't see anything out more than that over it. I'm not taking any of this stuff personal. So y'all be good.
Peace. All right. Oh, AB, I got an ad for you. AB Media is brought to you by Slam Hard Barbecue. Tastes so good, you better tip and kiss your waitress.
Okay. Whatever. I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed right now.
All right. Good night, fellas. Have a good one.
He said, "Fuck y'all."
He's like, man, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm gonna crash as soon as I turn this thing off. But
all right, baby. Appreciate you doing the talk, though.
Yeah, thank y'all for coming. This is AB Media 83, and I'm going to bed. Y'all have a good night. Yo, this is AB Media 83. Want to support the channel? Hit the Cash App. Also, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the video. Also, be sure to hit that bell notification so you can be notified the next time I upload a live stream or video. And always remember, keep it grinding, keep it pushing, keep it moving. This is AB Media 83. And I'm out. Peace.